Ladies and gentlemen, we'll call the meeting to order. Thank you very much for being here, and I ask you to please stand for the Indigenous Land Acknowledgement and the National Anthem. Thank you.
We begin this meeting by acknowledging that Quinte West is on Indigenous land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. We thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Long before today, there have been Indigenous peoples who have been the stewards of this place. In particular, we acknowledge the traditional territories of the Anishinaabeg, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte First Nation. This territory is covered by numerous treaties. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this place. We also recognize the contribution of the Métis, Inuit, and other Indigenous peoples have made, both in shaping and strengthening this community in particular, and our province and country as a whole. This acknowledgement serves as recognition of the contributions and historical significance of Indigenous peoples across Turtle Island and demonstrates our collective commitment to meet the promises and address the challenges of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission within our community.
Michael, how you doing? Any council members with any announcements, or starting this way, Councillor Armstrong?
The home show this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Lots of vendors will be there. I'll be there with the Quinte West Youth Center. We'll be providing things for the kids, face painting, coloring station, and 50-50 draw to help raise money for the center.
Is that a 60-40 like they normally? No, I'm just kidding.
You're not running it.
44, 50-50, thank you very much. Councillor Stedall.
Thank you, Worship. So I was going to mention the home show as well, but then on Saturday is our trash bash. So yes. I don't know if we still have the challenge that goes on with our neighboring municipalities, but I urge everybody to get out and collect trash on Saturday mornings between 9 and 12, and there'll be details that are going to be posted about where to drop it off. Giveaway days are coming in May, and also I just want to do a shout out, the Invest in Quinte West podcast, that the most recent one with Robert Jackson and Kelly West was really good. It was a combination of engineering and planning, and it was really a nice listen to. Anyway.
Thank you. Councillor Reid.
Thank you. I was going to mention the trash bash as well. Happy Earth Day, everyone, and hopefully there'll be lots of people out to, my neighbors are already collecting trash and setting it aside for the weekend, and so hopefully there will be lots of people out there. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the Frankfurt Huskies are doing a fantastic job. They've won their Eastern Conference Championship, and now they're playing Fergus for the Schmaltz Cup. Absolutely great coaching, great teamwork, and hopefully they'll be successful with winning this cup as well. So come out and support them. Thank you.
Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you. And the Huskies actually played in Trenton last night, and it was a great attendance, and glad to see that.
Well, tell them the most important part.
You were there?
We won. Yes, I was there and we won. Thank you. And this way, Councillor Card.
Thank you, Your Worship. During this term, I worked on the city's physician recruitment efforts, advocating for our residents to have access to primary care close to home. I want to formally thank all Quinte West physicians in honor of National Physicians' Day on May 1st. Please know that this council sees and recognizes your endless contributions to our city. I would specifically like to recognize Dr. Adewale, Dr. Baydar, Dr. Salhab, and Dr. Salve for celebrating their first official National Physicians' Day as committed members of the Quinte West Physician Recruitment Program. We are grateful that you have chosen our community to practice in, especially in this time of a primary care crisis in many rural communities such as Quinte West. Thank you.
Councillor Katsoukas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to touch on that as well, later in this meeting, Council will have the opportunity to proclaim May 1st as National Physicians' Day, and I wanted to highlight the importance of this day. During this term of Council, and all my terms for that matter, I have actively supported the city's physician recruitment efforts, and we have heard firsthand the challenges that primary care physicians encounter. To our dedicated local doctors, thank you for everything you do and for our residents. Council remains committed to supporting our local physicians as they care for and look forward to proclaiming May 1st as National Physicians' Day in the city of Quinte West.
We understand. That's okay. Councillor Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Alongside my co-workers on the Primary Care Committee, I too, alongside the Canadian Mental Health Association, the City of Quinte West, would like to recognize the hard work and dedication of our community's physicians. May 1st is National Physicians' Day, and we encourage our community to take the time to express gratitude to our local doctors. Our healthcare providers are key to maintaining a vibrant, healthy community, and physicians are a cornerstone of our healthcare system. Thank you to all Quinte West physicians for everything you do for our residents with our team and council. And I had one other remark,
ahead.
if I could. Mr. Mayor and members, I just wanted to highlight, I know it's Staff Appreciation Day, but I was yesterday able to attend the Economic Development Department hosted a trades workshop and brought in at the Operations Center a van from Ontario, not sure exactly the name, but a provincial van that helped expose young people, high schools, to the trades. So they had a van there, and you could actually use a simulator to learn how to use a truck for truck drivers. And that was really cool. Or if you chose to work as a hairstylist, they had wigs. They wouldn't let me take one, but they had wigs where you could, practice the skill of hairdressing. They also had areas where if you wanted to learn to be a mechanic and have opportunity exposure to all the electronic, I guess I will say gizmos, but the electronic hardware that you would need and practice with. They had workshops, they had plumbing, I think it was A1 Plumbing was there, but they had so many exposures for youth all day and into the evening, an open house with Public Works about our operators and our trucks and all the other opportunities, because trades are so important, HVAC and so forth. So I just wanted to kind of do a shout out to that particular team, Director Grimman and your team, and it was really something. I know others were there, and the mayor was there as well. And it was just, it was a great opportunity. And we had a lot of partners there with economic development, Loyalist College, the military, and so forth. So I really, really enjoyed it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And Councillor O'Neill was there as well.
Yes.
He actually covered for me. Thank you, sir. Yes. I was a little late getting there because I was dealing with something different. But anyways, you're good? Councillor, you're good? Okay. Councillor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I may, I would be remiss as the Chair of Environmental Stewardship if I also didn't mention that the Environmental Stewardship Awards are open, taking submissions until April 25th, I believe that it is. There are several categories for individuals and businesses. If you know of any business or person who has contributed to environmental stewardship in the city of Quinte West, please throw in a submission. We'd love to celebrate them.
Thank you. Anything else? Any staff members? We've got a new detachment commander today. Yeah. Constable Luddington. Thanks very much for attending. This is great. What have you got on tonight, Chief Whalen?
Well, first of all, I never like to correct you, Your Worship, but it's Sergeant Luddington, and he's a good friend of the fire department.
Oh, sorry,
He
sorry.
stops in and sees us quite
Sorry.
often. But no, tonight's a training night, as you know, and we've got 5 of our 7 stations training at the tower tonight, and they're sure appreciative of CEO Angelo coming around to the stations. I think tonight too with the pizza for staff appreciation, so we're very pleased about that, Your Worship. And with the nice weather, our firefighters are taking advantage. So we got lots of scenarios going on this evening. So
That's good.
if any yourself or any councillors have time, they can stop up.
Great, great. I'm sorry, I apologize, Sergeant Luddington, for, I must have been talking to your mother, right? You and I know that story, right? I don't tell everybody. Anything else? Otherwise, yes, the Hawks and the Huskies are doing very well. Big crowd, good crowd last night. And we got an old guy here in a blue suit, and he's got some gray hair, John McDonald, and he's going to speak to us. But I want everybody to know, and yes, I've been around a long time, so I maybe know more. But John's the guy, and a fellow by the name of Frank Robinson, who brought the Golden Hawks to the city of Quinte West and the Huskies to the city of Frankfurt. Sorry, the village of Frankfurt, the city of Quinte West. And the team is important, yes it is, and winning is great. But I want you to know, from my point of view, the most important part of these organizations, I know that every boy, every family that comes to this city is treated with respect and dignity. That's most important. Yes, it is, because in some places you've seen the situations that develop when young people aren't treated with respect and dignity. It's not the kind of atmosphere you want. So I thank you so much, John, and your cohort, and all the other people who stepped up to have a share and part ownership of the Huskies, and yes, you're doing extremely well. Last night I was at the game, and we weren't doing as well as I thought we should, and so I went to John and I said, well, what's your secret that you're going to pull out of the hat for this team? And he said, we got 2 periods left. He said, we're going to score first very quickly in the second period, and we're going to tie it up, and the third period's going to be ours. Almost like he had a crystal ball, because that's exactly what happened. So thank you very much, John, for supporting and showing me the way to victory. Okay, let's get on here. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to also recognize John for his recent induction into the Hall of Fame, I guess it is. He was a World Championship softball player, and also was a goalie, I guess. Is that right? That's what they called them then? For the Toronto Maple Leafs.
He was a goalie, the same as that, kitchen utensil.
That's right.
It's called a sieve.
Yeah.
No, I just.
He was, but that's quite an honor,
Yes, it is.
especially,
It certainly is. You're right. Absolutely.
Could I just say one thing, and it wasn't meant to be one thing? I've been very fortunate. I will be inducted into the Hall of Fame on the 2nd, I believe it is. But none of that could have happened without the support of that council. I look at some of the people sitting there, I've known them for a few years, and a lot of the things that we accomplished in this city would have never happened without your support. I mean, you had a World Junior
Yes.
Cale McCarr here, one of the greatest players. We had the Russians here. We had all of the Northwest Showcase. We had more events, and it was because of you guys supporting everything we did. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well, thank you. And not to forget our staff too, because what you know, we did a lot of work in that old dunk, did a lot of work in that media part of the old dunk, and yes, it does serve us well. It does. I shouldn't say old dunk. I'm not referencing the council member. I mean the arena. The arena. It's called the Duncan McDonald. Anyway, yeah, I get myself in trouble. Anyways, okay. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest in general nature thereof? Anyone? Declare that closed. I need approval of the agenda. Mover and the seconder, please. Councillor Roseblade, seconded by Councillor, yeah. Oh, geez, voice. Ed, sorry. I got a blank moment there. Thank you. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Thank you. Approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting held on April 8th, and resolution that the minutes of the regular council meeting held on April 8th be approved. Need a mover and a seconder for that motion. Councillor Reid, Councillor O'Neill. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Thank you very much. Carried. Okay, I'm at delegations, and the first one I have is Josh McChesney, City Clerk, Director of Corporate Services, address the Mayor and Council to present an update regarding the 2026 municipal election. Josh?
Thank you. I'm going to try to build off of all the sports positivity, talking about the election. I know it's everyone's favorite thing to talk about. Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Obviously, I'm here today to talk about the 2026 voting model. I'm very pleased to have with me two members of our election team, our Deputy Clerk, Virginia Latour, and our Elections Assistant, Paige Matthews. I'm going to hopefully whip through this presentation pretty quickly. I'm just going to go through, I guess I'm in control of this, so I should be moving it. The legislative framework, Quinte West voting statistics, to try to put in perspective what we're doing this election. I'm going to go over some key dates as well as the elections model itself. Gone too far. So the Municipal Elections Act governs all municipal elections and by-elections in Ontario, and there are a number of principles that underpin the Act. And what they do is they inform all of the independent decisions we make as clerks during the course of the election. In accordance with the Act, the clerk is responsible for the legislative and administrative conduct of the election, and the clerk may provide for any matter or procedure that is not otherwise provided for in the Act or regulation, and the clerk's opinion is necessary or desirable for the conduction of the election. In accordance with the Act, the clerk is responsible for establishing early voting dates, times, and locations, and on voting day, establishing those dates, times, and locations as well, including special voting places. And the clerk is also responsible or required to provide voting places in institutions for the reception, treatment, or vocational training of members of the armed forces or former members. So obviously, in the city here, we have to provide a voting location there. An institution in which on September 1st of this year, 20 or more beds are occupied by persons who are disabled, chronically ill, or infirm, and a retirement home which on September 1st, 50 or more beds are occupied. Okay, so as we head into this election where voters can cast a ballot either in person or online, these statistics help, I guess, paint a picture of where we are headed in terms of the distribution of how people are going to be casting their vote. We're expecting, of course, that we'll see a higher voter turnout this year, and we're looking to see more of a 50-50 split in terms of people who are casting their vote online versus in person. So some key dates, as you know, next Friday, May 1st, is the first day that prospective candidates can file their nomination papers to run the municipal election. They can do so until nomination day, which is Friday, August 21st, 2 p.m. being the deadline. Our paper ballot advance voting days, we have 3 days lined up, the first being Wednesday, October 14th, Saturday, October 17th, and Tuesday, October 20th. And our online voting period will commence on October 14th at 10 a.m., which coincides with the opening of our first advance poll, and will run until the end of voting on voting day when the polls close at 8 o'clock. The term of office, the new term of office begins on November 15th of this year and concludes on Thursday, November 14th of 2030. The end of the campaign period is the end of this year, and the financial statement filing deadline is March 30th of 2027. So, skipping ahead of myself here. So in 2026, this year, electors will have the choice of casting a paper ballot or an online ballot. For maximum convenience, a total of 298 hours of online voting and a total of 40 hours of in-person paper ballot voting will be offered. And as you know, I've talked about before, we have a vote anywhere model, so all voting places, advance voting and voting day are available to any eligible elector to cast their vote via paper ballot or vote online from the comfort of your home or workplace. And I just wanted to expand on what vote anywhere means. So it means that every voting location will have your ballot, so it'll have your ward and school support, or if you're an out-of-town elector, it'll just have your ward race on it. You will not be directed to a specific voting location like you were in the past. Based on your qualifying address, your voter information card will actually have every available voting location, dates and times for advance voting and on voting day, so that you can attend the voting location that is most convenient for you. And if you choose to vote online, you can quite literally vote from anywhere that has an internet connection. So until August 12th, eligible electors can add themselves to the voters list or make changes to their information through the Election Ontario portal. You can visit our elections website, quintewestvotes.ca, to be redirected. We have a link on there in a number of places to redirect residents to the province's portal. And then after August 12th, which is when the clerks in the province receive the PLEs, the preliminary list of electors, that responsibility will then lie with us. So residents can visit our website. We'll have a portal set up where they can submit their information and their ID, and we will get them added to the voters list. They can also visit an election official at a Quinte West booth during various community events happening in the late summer and fall. So we'll be at as many events as we can be to get people registered, get their information corrected, make sure that they get a voter information card in the mail. And then also any resident can stop by Quinte West City Hall or Frankfurt Municipal Office and fill out the form to have themselves added to the list. Eligible electors can also get added to the voters list or make changes to their information by attending a voting location during advance voting or on voting day as well. So if you didn't receive a voter card in the mail, you can attend any of those locations, and we will make sure we get you added to the list. So for in-person advance voting, as I mentioned, we have 3 days. The polls for those days will be open from 10 till 8. Right now we have one location in each ward. So for Ward 1, we will have Trentport Marina. Ward 2, Westminster United Church. Ward 3, we'll be using Quinte West Fire Hall Station 2. And then in Ward 4, we will be using the Frankfurt Lions Center. And then we put a map on here just to show the distribution of where those locations are throughout the city. And then for voting day, we have 2 locations planned for each ward with the exception of Ward 4. So in Ward 1, we're at 413 Wing and Ebenezer Christian Reformed Church up by the high school. In Ward 2, we have Oak Hills Golf Club and Westminster United Church. Ward 3, Trenton Wesleyan Church, as well as Quinte West Fire Hall Station 6. And then in Ward 4, we're at the Frankfurt Lions Center. And so this map here does a good job at showing the distribution of where those voting locations are. So 98.9% of households in the city of Quinte West will be within a 12-minute drive of any voting location, in the city on voting day. In accordance with the Act, we will also be offering roving voting locations at long-term care facilities, as I mentioned, 8-wing, Hospice Quinte, if applicable, in the hospital as well, if applicable. So those dates and times we arrange a little bit closer to, we arrange it at the convenience of those facilities to make sure that the maximum number of people who are at those various facilities can vote. And that's all I have. If you have any questions for Virginia and I, we'd be happy to take them at this time.
Councillor Armstrong?
Thank you. In past elections, there's been a real problem with the city and MPAC, big argument of who's responsible for generating these lists. And my explanation that was given to me was they're using federal polling lists and provincial polling lists and somehow putting them together and saying, here it is.
Through you to
No?
Councillor Armstrong, no. The MPAC now no longer has anything to do with the voters list. It has been, as of the beginning of 2024, been entirely assumed by the province. So all of the data sets that the province has access to, when you update your driver's license, when people pass away, that data goes up to Thunder Bay. It's all compiled at the provincial level and then passed on to us.
Because there were a lot of people who weren't getting their voting cards because their information, so that's a problem that hopefully has been
We're
99.9%.
cautiously optimistic, I would say.
Right.
We're hoping that will make a difference.
Councillor Stedler?
Yeah, somewhat similar to what Councillor Armstrong's questioning is about, if I updated my information at the last election, will that information come forward? Because I guess that's in the past, hasn't. If it's coming from the province now, is that going to be questionable?
Yeah, so if you voted in the last provincial election, then that's probably, that would be your updated information. It would be updated as of then, unless you went in and changed it, or if you moved and got a new driver's license or something like that, your address would be current as of then.
So, but what if I updated at the municipal election? Would that information be coming forward?
No. We get a brand-new data set from Elections Ontario on August, I think, the 13th. And then that would basically overwrite everything that is in, we use a program called DataFix right now that houses our municipal elector data in between elections. And when we get that preliminary list of electors in August, it will overwrite everything that's in there. But we're hoping, again, that it's going to be more current because they're using current data sets that are informed by the various ministries.
I think we'll be in a better position at the end of the election.
Speak
to see
into
what
the
this
mic,
new
Virginia.
voters list could do for us.
Speak into the mic, please.
Sorry. I'm just saying, I think at the end of this election, we'll be in a better position to see what this voters list could do for us, how much better it is than what we've been working with in the past.
You want to bet on it? Coming this way. Councillor Reid.
Thank you very much. I think that you have made this much more user-friendly than the previous election. And I think that many people will be very relieved to find out that they're not having to face so many restrictions. So thank you for putting your heads together and coming up with this very vote anywhere model with lots of locations near people so that they don't have to drive a long distance. So thank you very much. I think you've done an excellent job, and I expect it to be much simpler this year for Election Day.
Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I actually went on this website that you had with the link to the voter list. It worked very well. I was able to change my mom's address. I was able to add one of my kids. I was really impressed at how well that linked, and I could check my own and make changes to the others, so I'm very happy with it.
Thank you. Councillor Ollier. Councillor Card. Councillor Kosovas. Councillor Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to also add to what Councillor Reid has said, that this is very user-friendly. The paper ballot is going to draw more people out to vote. There was a lot of upset last year. I think there was nothing at all in North Sydney, no locations at all. So this is really great, and I think the location at Oak Hills Golf Course and then Westminster, those are wonderful, and knowing that they're within 12 minutes. So thank you very much. I would encourage, and I know you'll have a media plan, but if we can make sure we get ahead of where these are, because there will still be residents that will go to Tucker's Corners, that will go to Baptist Church. And if they know well in advance that they just have to go down the road to Westminster, or if you're further over to Oak Hill. So I thank you very much, and the sooner we get that information out, the better. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep.
Councillor Boyce? Councillor Roseblade?
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a question in regards to the retirement homes and nursing homes. In the past, you had gone to the nursing homes, and are you going to do that again? Okay. I just want to make sure they're not forgotten, because a lot of
Through the
them are
mayor
shut-ins
to-
and they can't get out.
Yes, through the
And they
mayor to
can't do
Councillor
online.
Roseblade. We arrange dates with the actual nursing home, retirement home. So we work with their schedule, and we do attend and stay 2 to 3 hours so that everybody can have that opportunity to vote, either bedside or they come into their community room and vote.
Okay, perfect, thanks. I just want to make sure that part didn't get missed.
Anybody else? Well, Councillor Card.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just piggybacking on Councillor Roseblade's question, actually, I recall from that slide, I believe the thresholds were 0 to 20 and 0 to 50 beds. Is that kind of standard best practices? Are we missing any facilities with those thresholds?
No, we'll go.
No. Yeah.
We're getting all of them in Quinte West?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. Sounds good. The only two places you haven't gone to are Weavers and Rushnells. So,
Staying away from there.
okay. I guess it's better to vote with a warm hand than a cold one, right? Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay.
Second delegation.
Okay, I guess we're at the delegation. Christina Akron, Executive Director, Quinte West Youth Center. Mary Morris, Chair, Quinte West Youth Center. And you're going to talk to us about, bring us up to date, and then you want to be able to do subletting legally? Is that the question, I guess? Come on up. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Mayor Harrison, councillors, city staff, and residents here today, thank you for allowing us to speak with you.
What's your name, Curly, or no?
I'm about to tell you. You have to be patient.
Okay.
My name is Maria Morris. I'm the chair of the Quinte West Youth Center for the board, and I'm also the proud principal of one of our local high schools, St. Paul Catholic Secondary School. Oh, sorry. There we go. We're here today to request some extra support from the city. 5 months ago, we weren't even sure the Quinte West Youth Center would still be here in existence. We only had 4 board members and no ED. Luckily, those involved recognized the importance of the youth center, and we went to United Way for some support, and we met with some people from the city as well. Together, we recognized the lack of resources in Quinte West for our youth and decided this center was worth fighting for. And so here we are today. We've rebuilt our board of directors, and we now sit 10 strong. We have an amazing new executive director who you're about to meet. However, in saying all that, we are here to ask for a little bit of help from all of you. I'll let Christina take over.
Hello, Mayor Harrison, councillors, city staff, and residents who are here today. My name's Christina Krong. I'm the new executive director at the Youth Center as of February. It's a real pleasure to be able to present to you today about the status of the Youth Center, so thank you for allowing us to come and speak with you. Together with Maria, we are thrilled to introduce you to our new board as well. So we have with us today, if you can all wave, we have very committed and dedicated new board members. You could change the slide, yeah. We also have a new volunteer coordinator, Sam, if you can wave as well. So we are together making up a very strong and motivated new team over at Quinte West. And I will say, from my experience, the Youth Center is a truly joyful place to be. It is always a buzz of activity, and I now believe that you'll never grow old working at the Youth Center. So you might lose your hearing, you might have to learn a whole new language of youth lingo, which I'm definitely doing, but it is a very exciting and energetic and happy place to be. So last year, we served 140 different youth coming to the youth center, a total of 2,643 visits. We serve daily snacks. Every day we serve a meal. In the first 3.5 months of this year, just alone, we've had 785 visits from 58 different youth and served 477 dinners. So there's a lot going on. Our visits are steadily increasing, so we're on an upward trend. Just last month, we had 47 different youth visiting 252 times. So we're planning to increase our opening hours, including Saturdays. We're planning to increase daytime hours to serve those youth who aren't in school. And we're focusing on attracting more youth from beyond our own neighborhood and working with Quinte Transit to help them get to us.
So we are asking for some rent relief. We see rent relief being a strategic, low-cost municipal intervention. Providing rent relief does not require the city to create a new program or staffing structure. By helping us this year, we will rebuild, and you would be helping us to stabilize an existing service, protect volunteer and partner investments already in place, and prevent service disruption during this economic pressure. Compared to the long-term costs of youth disengagement, policing, social services, by law enforcement, emergency mental health calls, rent relief seems like a fiscally responsible prevention. Supporting Quinte West Youth Centre aligns with your, it's this one, sorry. There. Supporting Quinte West Youth Centre aligns with your municipal values and priorities. Most municipalities, including Quinte West, align priorities around safe communities, youth engagement, mental health and well-being, and prevention over reaction. Supporting the youth centre through rent relief sends a powerful message that the city values young people as assets, not afterthoughts. The Quinte West Youth Centre keeps young people safe, connected, and supported during hours when they're most at risk. Providing rent relief is not an expense. It's smart, preventative investment in community safety, youth well-being, and the future of Quinte West. In my role as a principal, we are supporting youth at risk on a daily basis. There's so many youth who don't know where they're going after school. They don't know when their next healthy meal will be. Having the centre as an option to offer to our youth is extremely important. At the centre, we are providing opportunities for youth to engage in activities, connect with people, develop relationships, and keep them from wandering the streets when they are avoiding being at home. Youth centres create opportunities for youth who have little supports, providing them direction and are less connected. We offer programming that includes volunteering, leadership, skill building, employment readiness, and peer mentorship. All of these are known to increase school engagement, strengthen life skills as a communication, conflict resolution and responsibility, as well as improve long-term employment outcomes. Investment in children and youth yield strong social returns. Not only do youth centres help prevent homelessness, but they also help with crime prevention. Reducing risk factors and increasing protective factors like supervision, positive relationships, and skill building is one of the most cost-effective approaches to community safety. Safe, structured spaces reduce youth involvement in violent behavior, vandalism, substance misuse, and recruitment into criminal activity by providing supervision during peak risk hours, typically between 3 and 6 p.m. Keeping Quinte West Youth Centre open directly supports this preventative approach. By the city supporting us during the period of rebuilding will help with and keeping costs less when it comes to policing, court involvement, or emergency responses.
You might be wondering what's happening in the youth center when youth are coming there. So we have, along with drop-in, we have a variety of programs and special events to provide enrichment. One exciting new program we have is called Your Voice, Your Story. And so one of our staff is going to teach songwriting and ukulele playing over 8 weeks, and it'll culminate in a public performance in a coffee house on June 19th, and you're definitely all invited. The staff member who's teaching this is an amazing singer, and she's actually a former youth who used to visit the center, and we have two former youth who we are now hired as child and youth workers. One exciting special event was just yesterday. Our youth did a field trip to the Skilled Trades truck and open house. They had a blast. I think it opened their eyes to things they'd never thought they could try before, and maybe that'll spark some new career paths, who knows? We have some images of some of the special events. You're not going to see pictures of kids in these events, but you're going to see the people who ran them. So we had yoga with Mackenzie during March break to do a yoga and dance activity with the kids. That's Mackenzie on the right with one of our placement students from Loyalist on the left. We also had a special event during March break. This is Isaac Akrong from African Arts Institute, who came to lead a drumming workshop, which was totally new for most of the kids, and they had a total blast. And then we have the ever popular and famous karaoke night. So it is very sweet when I sit in my office and listen to the dulcet tunes of all the kids singing karaoke. It's very lovely, and you'd always be surprised who's singing. You might not picture that particular kid singing to all their peers, but they absolutely love it.
So you've heard the word rebuild or rebuilding several times already, but this is truly what we are doing. Not only do we have a brand new board, 10 members strong, and a new executive director, but we've been working hard since the rebuild of the board in February. We've since brought all of our bylaws up to speed to ensure we are ONCA compliant through the support of a small United Way grant. We've improved governance. We now have 4 board committees who are currently meeting monthly, recognizing the importance of the rebuild. The importance being the children, because the children are what we're supporting through the youth center. Within this center, the youth themselves have created a youth council, and we have had we've had a volunteer to coordinate our volunteers and build in training supports for all of them, because centers like this don't survive on staff alone. We need lots of volunteers to come in. Christina has added 3 new on-call casual workers. We recognize that this point may seem like we're adding money, but you can't operate a youth center without proper supervision of the youth, and we can't keep closing it down every time a staff member is sick. The youth need stability, and they need to know when the center is open, and getting constant reminders that it's closed because we can't offer safe supervision is not good. So we've added casual on-calls. This has enabled us to ensure we were offering safe programming. It's allowed us to start opening the center more. So for instance, we opened for an extra day over Easter weekend. We're looking at the possibility of opening on Saturdays as well. The center needs to be open when schools are closed, because that's when our youth need the support. There are times when youth need, we see it in schools all the time. Well, most of us are really excited for long weekends, Christmas holidays. This is when we see so many youth in our school that are stressing over what that means for them. What are they going to do when the school's closed for 2 weeks? Where are we going to go? Who are we going to talk to? So it's an unfortunate, sad reality, and so the youth center provides supports for those youth during those times.
It's our goal to be a real hub for youth activity in the community and an effective service provider for the city. We're proud to say this is already happening. We have all these partners in the center already. If you can go back a slide, we have both school boards running alternative school throughout the week. We have Children's Wellness Center offering therapeutic services. We have Kin Club meeting 1 to 2 days per month. We also really feel it's critical to work with other youth-serving organizations and align together with them, so we're reestablishing those relationships and strengthening them. We've just rejoined St. Leonard's Youth Justice Advisory Committee. We were just invited to join or rejoin the Children and Youth Planning Table for Hastings and Prince Edward. So we're also a space where kids who are at Bayfield Treatment Centers or St. Leonard's Emergency Housing come to have fun, meet friends, and access other services. We're also proud to host post-secondary placement students. So not only are we committed to supporting community, we're so grateful for the support that we receive. And in just the 2.5 months I've been here, I've seen every day the phone ringing or people coming by to offer support. We just last weekend had 2 local businesses just offer and hold a fundraiser for us, which brought in $1,000. We've recently got grants from Trenval, United Way, Food for Learning. We just received Canada Summer Jobs and Canadian Tire Jumpstart, so the support is there, but we have a work to do in this critical year to get back up to speed. I'm going to just, because of time, I will pass it back to Maria at this point. Sorry.
Are we running out of time?
Well,
Sorry.
this slide is just to say we're so excited about our future plans, and we'll keep going. Yeah.
And then here, we just wanted to point out that the center has a lot of potential to welcome in other youth who are currently on wait lists for therapy, et cetera. So students who maybe can't come into schools for a variety of reasons, and there's lots of community organizations that are looking for a place where they can go and connect with this youth. So part of the youth center sits empty during the day throughout the week. Students don't come until after school, so wouldn't it be amazing if we could offer the space to other agencies so they could benefit during the school days? And this could act as a little extra income as well if we are able to alter our lease to be able to sublet and welcome in agencies. So here's two huge spaces that we have in our basement. Of course, the youth often will host dinners there. We had our big Christmas dinner down there, a big turkey dinner, which was amazing, and thanks to the community for that.
Very close to the end now. So having heard about our updates and our plans, we'd like to formally make our request. We are seeking 1 year of rent relief, water and sewer fees in order to help us stabilize financially. We're also asking for an amendment to our lease to be able to sublet to groups that are aligned to our purpose. This will enable us to bring in a new revenue stream, increase services to youth, and fully activate our space. This slide does show the reality of our current financial projections, where we are currently looking at having more expenses than revenues. All of our board together are working diligently to reverse this. On the revenue side, we have plenty of grants ahead of us that we're applying to, and some of them are starting to come in. We have an active fundraising committee, and we are exploring new revenue streams. On the expenses side, we have reduced staffing costs since the last time you have seen this. We're stretching our budget just like everyone else, as from households to government. Times are tough all around. And we have great donors, but we still do have purchases to make. We are fortunate to have a reserve fund, and we're also fortunate that we have no debts. So we are really in a building, but we're not repairing. We really are building forward. Focused on good governance, and with your support in the relief of these fees, you'll be assisting us to regain that stability.
So while our current financial statements look bleak, we are in a time of rebuild, and we have the right people behind it with the new ED and board of directors who are all recognizing the importance of the youth center to our community. Not listed in, Christina just mentioned, but we did receive the Canada Summer Grant, which was just approved, and it'll support some new staff throughout the summer. We are currently in the process of organizing a glow-in-the-dark golf fundraiser for August 27th. We expect to see all of you there if you're available. Our fundraiser committee has a large goal, and they have plans of making this an annual event. And now that we have a consistent executive director who's working tirelessly applying for grants and working alongside city staff to stay connected with other possibilities that are available. So while we are currently continuing with hardships, we are reaching out, and this is why we're asking for some supports. We aren't asking for relief forever. We're just asking for a little bit while we rebuild. And as you would have seen and heard today, you can really see the growth in just 3 months. 3 months ago, we didn't know that we'd still be open, but this place is so important to the youth of Quinte West. The Quinte West Youth Center keeps young people safe, keeps them connected, keeps them supported during the hours when they are most at risk. And again, in my profession, when I'm as a local school principal, I see a huge need for this. I can't express how much this is needed in our community. So providing some rent relief is not an expense. It's a smart, preventative investment in community safety, youth well-being, and in the future of Quinte West. A stable youth center is not a nice to have. It's an investment in Quinte West's future workforce, taxpayers, and community leaders. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to take any questions or comments. Councillor Armstrong.
Thank you. I noticed you didn't have Parrot Foundation as one of your, is it in the works?
Absolutely. That's on our radar, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. Coming this way. Anybody else? Councillor Quinte.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Since inception, I definitely have been in support of the Quinte West Youth Center. Really like to see kids taking advantage of this situation. but I am struggling with the request. The city's already been very good to the Quinte West Youth Center, and I see that you have many requests out there for donations, so I'm sort of sitting on the fence of I'd like to see how some of those other requests come before I say yes or no to your request today. We did our budget already for the city, and so coming at this time when we've already set our budgets and set everything in motion, it's just a little challenging just from my seat. Thanks.
Okay, coming this, Councilor Reid.
I just have one small question. Thank you for your presentation, but the $40,000 that the City of Quinte West gives you, what do you use that for?
What is really critical about that funding for us is that it goes to operations, so it can be directed towards salaries, utilities, etc., whereas a vast majority of the grants are program-specific and do not cover salaries or admin, and they have to be used for the purpose of a project. So that is operating costs for us.
I think that we have, and correct me if I'm wrong, Director Grimman, but I think one of our stipulations about the community fund grant is that it doesn't go for salaries.
I may also be corrected, but I am under the impression it's an investment grant. However, our utilities costs and our costs of operating would exceed the 40,000. So the overall expenses of our year would not dictate that the 40,000 from the city does have to go towards salaries because we have so many other expenses as well.
Okay, thank you. I just wondered.
Yeah.
Councilor Reid? I'm sorry, Councilor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too, with Councilor Quincy, am concerned about the cash, but our community grant fund has access in there that we can give for this year. It won't affect the taxes for this year. I'm very impressed on the number of volunteers you've got. I've been there and visited, that you serve meals every night. I'm in favor of it.
Thank you. Coming this way, Councilor Allier first, and then I'll.
I commend you on your work that you're doing there, and I know, as Councilor Quincy said, I've been here since the inception of when that was taken over from the school board. I guess it was way, way back, but anyway, I think we should look into it. I don't know, maybe when the questions are answered, our facilities person, Ms. Rimmen, can maybe take a look at whether she's been looking into this, or even Caleb, to see if there's any wiggle room, I'll put it that way, that we can do some considerations. But I'll leave it to when you want to answer, or would you like to do it now, please?
Director Grimman?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Elliott. There is a report further on today's agenda under section 8.4, I believe, that does speak to the request and does provide a bit more information for council's consideration, as well as possible funding options.
Thank you. Yes, it is there, yes. Thank you.
So we'll stay tuned. We'll be probably discussing this more later on, but I didn't know whether you wanted to discuss it now or not, so that's why I brought it up. But thank you anyway.
Councillor Card.
Thank you, Worship. I just had a question and some follow-ups. I'm sorry I couldn't see that well on the slide, but what is the projected deficit for 2026?
Well, the projections we're operating under at the moment is that by about July or August, we will need to take our reserve fund and put it into operating, and we will spend it down until December. So really, our projection is to break even in December, as opposed to run a deficit. We know that we can't run a deficit, so we won't stay open.
Was there a funding stream, significant kind of grant or funding stream that had negatively affected you that happened in the last year or so?
So leading up, last spring, we lost our executive director. Full transparency, we lost our executive director. We lost a few board members. And during that time, so I'm going to estimate a little bit, from May to February, we went without a lot. There was 4 board members. We were trying to run the center with 2 staff. And we missed out on applying for grants. We missed out on some opportunities. We recognize that that is on us, but at the time, we didn't have an executive director to do all of the work that would normally get done. The 4 board members all have jobs, and we did our best, but we fell apart. So we're here, we're rebuilding because, well, me in the schools every day, I can't even begin to talk about the mental health and the kids that don't have supports outside of school, and they're living on the streets, and we're trying to find places for them to go daily. So I truly see the investment in the youth center. I've been a member, or I've lived in Quinte West for a really long time, and I'm going to be honest and tell you, I didn't even know it existed when my kids were little. And now, I kind of kick myself. And so we're working really hard to change that. But we need help to do it. Rome wasn't built in a day, and we can't save the center in a day either. So we do need a little bit of help. United Way has been a #1 supporter for us. They've helped us kind of put together all our projections and our request, and they're working really hard alongside us, but we do need some help. So we had a gap. We had a gap of, 7 to 8 months where we were trying our best, but we didn't have what we needed to get through. So we missed out on opportunities.
Okay, no, that's fine. I appreciate everyone stepping up in the community and restocking your board. I serve on a nonprofit board. I know how difficult that can be. And I think certainly for the community, this is a much better outcome to support this ask for a short period of time and for the center to ultimately stay open rather than the worst case scenario you mentioned you were looking at before. So I think given the circumstances, I'm happy to support as well.
Thank you. Councillor Katsoulis.
No questions at this time. I'll just say my comments when the report comes up.
Okay. Councillor Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and like others, congratulations to you, the new executive director. And as others have said, great to have a new strong board. We're moving forward. I have some concerns as well, and I know we'll chat further in the report, particularly mid-budget. I know these are extenuating circumstances, but we get requests a lot, and we deal with them at that budget time. So coming here at this time it opens up the door for others. Now, at the same time, as Councillor Card and others have asked, what makes it different? And we do value the youth center. Now, maybe as we get into it, we may find other ways, but that's my concern. But also, I wanted to ask, with the 40,000 that we give, over time, the youth center can many times asking for funds, and then the city said, here's 40,000, do what you think is best with it, whether it was rent or anything else. We didn't get into the weeds. We said, here's 40, because it was 10, then it was 20, then it was 30. So just a little background there. And the other thing I wanted to ask, you're hiring new people and extending hours, but you don't have the operating dollars. Are they covered from grants?
Some of them, through you, Mr. Mayor, some of them are covered through grants, but by hiring extra, we've been running with 2 staff who have gone back to school. So they've both gone back to get education in other areas. So they're working like 20 hours a week. And so we had to bring on-call casuals because we can't run a center with only 1 staff member there for safety reasons.
Right.
And then we didn't want to keep closing. When you only have 2 staff and 1 person's sick, we have to close. Okay. So we didn't want to do that. So to be able to compensate for that, we brought on these on-call casuals. So we currently have no full-time staff outside of Christina, and the rest are like it's on call. So we're not putting extra hours on them, I guess. And while our goal is to open more hours and offer opportunities for for children, we're not doing that yet. We're not there. We're looking at it, but we're not there.
Which leads to my next question. With your new board members and your subcommittees, I think there's 4. I'm sure there's a finance one and so forth. Do you planning to do a business plan? Do you have a business plan? Is this what United Way is helping you with, just to go forward?
Yeah, they have organizational capacity
Okay.
grants that we're applying to. We just finished one for ANCA compliance. Our next one that very well may be business planning and strategic planning. So that is our direction.
Well, I thank you very much. I will certainly consider it, and those are my questions answered. Thank you.
Councilor Boyce.
Right, yeah, I'll make comments. I've spent the last 40 years in youth corrections, and I know that the cost to house a youth in a correctional facility is astronomical. This is, in my opinion, a small investment for the future of our youth, providing them life skills, programming, that bit of confidence that the youth need to be successful, members of our community. So I'm fully supportive of this.
Thank you. Councilor Roseblade.
Thank you, through Mr. Mayor. I too support this 100%. It is such a good facility. It's in my neighborhood, which is lucky for me. I do like the comment that you said you're going to try to see if you can get buses with Quinte Transit to get them there, because it's a shame that other kids can't participate in this facility. It's wonderful. I do find it a little interesting, and I have to mention this, that we have other facilities we own, and we talk about the wonderful service we get from the OPP, and we own the building, we don't charge them rent. We have the wonderful YMCA, which I'm a member. We own the building, we don't charge them rent. You're providing such an important service for this community, and we're charging you rent. So in my opinion, I don't think we should be charging you rent at all, ever. But I fully support this report. There is funding in the 2026 Community Funding Grant that we can do this year, and maybe we can possibly look at something further if you're opening the lease to sublet, to talk about if we can remove the rent, and let's keep this youth center going. Most cities of this size run a youth center and a senior center and a recreation center, and we do not. So we should be supporting the people who are working hard to do that. So I fully support you, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor Armstrong. Go ahead.
Sir, I sit on the Quinte West Youth Center as a rep for the city, and I fully support this. I agree with Councilor Roseblade about charging these folks for anything. If you look at this board, I wish they could all tell you what they do, and that just listening to them would tell you the kind of work that's gone into attracting these people, and with them as the backbone, I think we're in good shape. We as a city, we apply for all kinds of grants, and we get shut down all the time, it seems. Same thing happens. The well's very low, but still everybody's going after it. So I'm using that as a comparison. As for not coming to budget, we approached the city, I stand to be corrected, about this issue before budget, and was more or less advised that we should hang tough and present it at this time. I believe that's the way it was put forward. We would have come as a group during the budget talks and asked for money, but we just followed that guidance. Am I right on that or not?
I can't remember.
Can I?
I don't know.
Your worship, but perhaps I can clarify, and that is correct. There was initial meeting set up between city staff and the youth center, because, and really we needed to know the magnitude and the business plan put together before they came to council. And with that, with a new board in place now, with all the information there, this is more the opportune time for them to come forward, council, with their request.
And I think by the quality of this presentation shows you the kind of work that was put into this presentation on behalf of the kids. When I was a teacher, snow days, the kids that showed up to school were, we called them, they had snow day syndrome. They had nowhere to go. They were safer at school than staying at home. So the same idea. When the holidays come up, they go to the youth center. And I support at least once a month on a Saturday, at least start somewhere there. But before, that was never on a Saturday. And to me, that's when it's happening.
Well, we're different. I never had a snow day when I went to school, so.
Yeah, but you had the big hill to climb in both ways, right?
Did you ever have a fog day?
Both ways. It was difficult both ways, so.
We had a fog day last week.
Fog day.
What did you say? They had a fog
Councilor
day
Stedall,
last
go
week.
ahead.
Yes, we were canceled for fog. Yeah.
Thank you, Worship. I struggle with this because there was an opportunity at budget time to consider it, and the amount that's been applied, the $40,000 is a lot more than what we give to a lot of other organizations. I'm not sure I completely agree with the exemption to the rent, because we've got other organizations such as hockey and soccer and things like that that we do charge rent for, and they also are youth organizations. And I know this is one of many youth organizations, and I think we need to be fair and consistent how we're treating all of the youth. Because I think hockey and soccer also keep people away from the institutions as well. And so at this time, I think, I'd be supportive of a portion of it, but I'd like to see a better financial plan. I know making application to grants sounds like a great idea, but I've also know that they don't always come through. And to come back to the city again and ask for more again, I find that difficult. And I do understand, what Councillor Armstrong's saying and what you're saying as well, is that you've had some difficulties at this time, and you do have a reserve, which is fantastic, because a lot of these organizations don't even have that. But I do think I'm not supportive of all of the money that's being requested at this time. I think, again, I'd like to see a financial plan for the next few months and how this is going to stop, the bleeding will stop. Because I think you do have some ideas, renting out that part of that facility or subletting to other, daycares or something else that also is something that youth can use would be great. We also have another youth center that's in Frankfurt, and they're not coming to the table. So I mean, there is a plan, I think, that can be evolved from this. So I'm supportive of a short amount, but I'd also like to see a financial plan for the long term.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate the work you're doing. When I retired in '97, the cost to keep an inmate in Warkworth was $100,000. That's in '97. And we had at our operations center this week the opportunity for young people to come and view the trades. And one of the leaders and I can't even remember whether it was Quinte Economic Development or what, but they said, if we can get one person interested in the trades, we've won. And, so what you're talking here today is a hand up, is a way to give people a, rather than put them down, find a way to encourage them to do their best and give them options and opportunities. And you'll all be impressed with what they're able to accomplish. So I support what you're doing wholeheartedly. And yes, there are all kinds of other things that are equally as important. I don't dispute that. But I think the work you're doing and your board and the members you've got is fantastic for the youth in the city of Quinte West. So I'm going to turn it over to COO Angelo. Any comments at this time, sir?
Your Worship, not at this time. I know Director Grimman has her report on, and I believe Council may have some additional questions then to ask of staff.
Okay. Well,
Can I just make one comment?
Yes.
I just want to address, part of the reason we didn't come at budget time, we didn't even have an executive director and we didn't really have a board. I'm going to be honest, how would we come and present when we didn't even know what we were doing? I'll be honest in saying that. So that's our apologies, but we did make appointments to meet with staff and we had good chats and we brought on United Way to kind of help us support through those times. So, and you're not going to find a bigger sports mom than me. I fully see the benefits of sports, but not everybody's athletic. Not everybody wants to do sports. I see that in schools and I see that in the youth center. And I think we have to remember the trades, the arts, all of those other things that are provided at the youth center. And when it comes to sports, being the sports mom that I am, there's lots of opportunities for youth to get funding within our community, within Belleville, I can remember being managers of hockey teams and helping kids find money, and schools will even support through our foundations kids to be able to play sports. So I do think that those aren't the kids that we're targeting that attend the youth center. I'm going to be honest and tell you that. These are the people that don't have those sports options even available. They couldn't even dream of sports because they don't have the home supports to support them. They couldn't even get to a sports field. So I guess I just want to, and I say this as a sports mom. So these are children that don't have what all of us have at home in our families. So I just wanted you to keep that in the back of your heads, that sports isn't
Well,
the cure for
thank-
everybody.
Thank you very much, and it's interesting, we have John McDonald here who played goal, and you got Father Tim. You know, they're both Sibs.
I know, and I was a billet. So I really am a sports person, but it's not the solution for everything.
Yeah, I'm just teasing the two of them, so I really appreciate the work you do, and, you know, maybe you want to take time. Do you want to know who the members are? Is that what you want to know? Well, take time. Please introduce your board and let them tell us who they are and give us some of their background. How's that?
So okay, well, we'll let them introduce themselves with their name and their affiliation.
Come on up.
Sorry, point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just no disrespect, but this 10-minute presentation's going on 40 minutes.
I know it is.
Just for the other presenters that have been sitting here patiently, I don't know if they want a chance.
All right. Well, do you not want to, would you want to shut it off? Is that what you want to do? Give me a motion and,
We can do it at the next one, the report comes out.
okay, do it. Thank you. We'll keep going. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. The next one is Michelle Avery, resident. Okay, council will speak on concerns regarding property standards.
Oh, here we go. Perfect. Hello, Mayor Harrison, and council members. My name is Michelle Avery. Apologies, I'll move this closer, maybe a little lower because I'm short. I've been a resident of this community since 1993, and the home I'm about to talk to you about, I purchased in 1997. So I've lived there for 29 years. A little bit about me. If you don't know me, my husband and I have raised 6 children in this community. We've been active in all of our children's sporting and academic activities, volunteered timeless hours, served on school councils, and including my time as the chair at the Trenton High School. We've also owned 3 businesses in our time here in Quinte West. I attended this Quinte West Council meeting, as you'll see on your screen here, in November of 2023 regarding a zoning change application for the property located behind me at 79 East Davis Street. I attended the meeting to provide my concerns and input, and I've taken the liberty to highlight the areas. So in yellow here, you'll see the staff report. You can read this on your own time. You don't need me to read it to you. However, here, on the next screen, highlighted in red, you'll see my notes. And I'd like to just take a moment to remind you that this was in November of 2023, so a little over 2.5 years ago. You'll see my very condensed notes to my concerns, which I would like to specifically highlight. Snow being plowed into my fence. So we're going to put a pin in that one, and we're going to come back to it. I want you to just hold that thought. I also indicated concerns regarding garbage disposal, very specifically addressed concerns that I had regarding the fire escape and the property being used as a main entrance and exit, and how the improvements to this property could potentially interfere with the enjoyment of my property. The concerns I'm about to bring forward to you do highlight the gap that currently exists in the property standards in outdoor lighting and security lighting. At the time I presented my concerns to council, I was met with sarcasm, I was met with cynicism, and I was met with dismissiveness. I even noted an eye roll or two from some of you. The property agent that was on the phone assured me that I would have no concerns with the property improvements that they were about to take on to this property. I was assured that my concerns were moot and unnecessary. It was assured to me very dismissively that the enjoyment of my property would not be impacted with the approved changes. They said the fire escape was not going to be the entry and exit, and that they were making a new one to be used by tenants. The council barely discussed my concern, waved me on my way, and I believe I noted that I would be back if the concerns persisted. And here I am, 2.5 years later, with my evidence. So first off, this is a photo of my backyard. You can't see that there's a pool there because of the excessive shading that those beautiful lights offer me. For 2 years, I was faced with this absolute monstrosity of lighting. At first, it was just 3 lights, but as last year rolled around, they added a 4th because, as you can see, the 3 were not bright enough for what they needed. This beautiful light shines directly through my patio doors. This light is located about 100 feet away from my patio doors. I can't have my curtains open. I can't entertain outside. Obviously, this is my outdoor area. I have a gazebo that I bought and tried to strategically place to stop it from coming through that area. This slide, if you're standing at the entrance to my pool area, which is on the left side of this fencing area, you can't see anything there. It's just what it is. I've also brought you a quick clip of a video that I took into my office. I'm not sure if this will play or not. Will this play? Either way, this one shines into my office. I work a global company. I am on call to speak with people in the evenings, early in the mornings. The time change doesn't matter to my job. I need to be available to my clients when they are available, which is sometimes 3 or 4 in the morning. And this shines through my office patio door. This one is also a video. Obviously, it's not going to play, but it will show you that the exterior lighting on my home is all these lights. I have no exterior lights on my backyard at all, but I could tell you every little thing that's back there. I attempted to deal with the owner directly. They blew me off. I connected back with Shauna. She advised me that the bylaw couldn't help me, and it wasn't a planning department issue. And I see it very differently, because I was here and told you all that I had concerns with the enjoyment of my property. Mr. Brian Jardine was very dismissive that my original concerns were not relevant. Shauna attempted to connect with the property owner as a courtesy in November of 2025, but she let me know that enforcement was unlikely, as bylaw did not have anything written for my specific issue. After a few back and forth emails and an in-person meeting, she let me know that she had no resolution for me. I wrote an email to bylaw, their inbox was full. I wrote an email to the mayor's inbox, it was also full. They both bounced. I wrote an email to the Facebook Messenger to be told that I should send it to bylaw. Enter social media, and within 72 hours of me posting my issue on social media, those lights were adjusted. It was a 20-minute fix. The backlash that that business received was immense, and everybody was in agreement. Those lights were extremely excessive. They aren't 100% better, but the owner tells me he has another plan and this is temporary. And I'm okay with that. I'll give him the time to do his temporary fix. I mean, I've given him 2.5 years up until now. However, it was the backlash that got their attention in the first place. It wasn't the city officials, it wasn't the bylaw, it wasn't me, it wasn't the neighborhood that had issues with this. The electrician that said that they installed these lights, that I had a very direct conversation with because I'm 100% confrontational, said that they met the city standards. There was nothing wrong with how they were installed, and that told me to get some effing blackout curtains. And get used to it, it's a commercial property, take it up with the city. So here I am, taking it up with the city. You can thank R&B Electric for just how much more upset I am about this whole issue. The city needs a lighting bylaw, and until they do, they need to act on behalf of their constituents and enforce complaints and compliance under nuisance bylaws. When I posted my issue to social media, there was a huge amount of support, and many other people did privately message me to tell me that they also had issues. So there is a gap in that, and it does need to be addressed. Shauna did tell me that there was something in the works, but that was also about 7 months ago, and I'm still waiting for that update. On to the issue I asked you to hold, plowing snow into the fence. I brought this up to you in November of 2023. Mayor Harrison, you told me that fences make great neighbors. And here we are. This is the fence that well, there's no fence there, I took it down. From the previous owners, I explained that there was issues with plowing into the fence, people driving into the fence. So we took it down. This was the replacement work that was done in 2020. Installed a new fence. I put the original metal fence back up on the other side. The metal fence was put back with a 4-inch gap between that fence and my wood fence. And in the spring of 2026, this is my fence. Again, with the snow piled against it. I have many more photos that I didn't include here, so I can prove that the snow was plowed against the fence. Imagine my enthusiasm when the property owner told me not to worry, he's going to replace the whole fence and I'm going to pay for half of it. That's a problem. I was already here once to express that this was a problem. The owner hasn't responded to my 2 written requests for resolution about the fence at their cost. And that's my issue with them. My issue here today is that there's zero accountability on the approval that was given to this property. There's zero accountability for the lights that were up. It took me going to social media. And the solution from with the city was for me to hire a lawyer. I paid $3,000 out of pocket to build that fence because the previous owner of the property beside me chose not to participate in their responsibility of the fence. So now here I am having to put out more money, potentially for legal fees, and now I have to build another fence because this fence is not secure. I have an in-ground pool. I also have dogs. The City of Quinte West allowed the changes to be made to the property without a care as to how it would affect the surrounding property. They treated me as the crazy angry lady that was just here to cause problems. And I'm not a crazy angry, I'm quite reasonable. I've watched people bring their concerns to City Hall previously. I've attended quite a few meetings just to watch, and I've seen people come forward with their concerns and be waved off, and it's been quite dismissive. I think that we do need to revisit the property standards bylaws, and I think that the lighting issue needs to be addressed. I don't know if there's anything you can do about commercial properties plowing into residential property fences, but something needs to be done. I shouldn't be out of pocket continuously. I shouldn't have to go to social media to be like, can somebody help me take these lights down so I can sit in my backyard and potentially have a drink at night? And the fire escape is a whole other issue. If you note back in these pictures, you'll see that there is no latch on, well, you can't really see it. There's no latch on the outside of that door. It's a fire door, and they pry it open, and they use it as a common entrance and exit. The issue I have with that is the people that stand at the top and just peer into my backyard and make my girls uncomfortable while we're using our pool. I do want to address that there is a gap in the property standards, and they do need to be addressed, and they need to be addressed before the next election. I think that's something that the council is responsible for. In the area of the bright lights that we all live in now, there's lots of dark sky policies in place with other cities and communities and municipalities, and I think that the City of Quinte West needs to put that to the forefront of what they need to be doing this year. That's it.
Director Jardine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for the presentation. And I do recall, obviously, the public meeting. I do take exception. I don't want to get into a big debate here tonight, but I do take exception to your characterisation of your interactions with city staff. I think there's a distinct difference between being dismissive and being told the information that's available. The application that came forward to Planning Committee, as was explained in the evening, was it was a zoning application. It relates to the use, not to the physical development and construction on the site. And I think the answer that was given to you at that time is that because we were just dealing with the use, some of your concerns could not be dealt with through that. I also explained, I think, at the meeting, if I recall, that when it comes to lighting, you're correct. From property standards standpoint, there is no bylaw that we currently have in place to control lighting. If council wish to direct us to look into that, that's certainly something that we could do. But our only physical ability to control lighting on a commercial site at this point in time is through a site plan control application that has not been applied for. That's something that we're working on with the client at the moment, depending on what the fulsome extent of their overall renovation plans are. But based on the applications that were provided, we had no mechanism to ask for lighting to be changed. It's the same as if anybody's neighbour puts a security light on their house, we have to have a bylaw or something in place, a policy in place, a bylaw that we can enact. What we don't want to do is give a resident a false sense of security that the city can do something that we simply cannot do. Again, if council wish to direct us to change the bylaws, we can do that and we will follow through. But I think I just want to be very clear that what you take as dismissiveness was us providing you the information. I understand you did not like the information, but that was the information that we can present, and that's we're not going to allude to something that we can't control or we cannot do.
I might suggest that you actually don't recall the meeting because my concerns were brought forward. The agent on the telephone said, no worries, we're not going to do that. We're not going to use the fire escape as our main entrance and exit. We're not going to do these things. We're not going to plow our snow into your fence. We're not going to do those things. and then to be coming back here 2.5 years later, because there's no accountability for the follow-up for that, even though I came to the city.
Director
Mr. Mayor,
Jardine.
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'll come to you in
Okay.
just a minute. Director?
Yeah, again, it really, and don't worry, I understand. I know that, you know, when you work for the city, you know all of the different places and all of the different policies and procedures and opportunities that the city or a resident has to make change. And I understand when you come to a meeting, you raise your issues. But what we cannot do, and I think what was explained, or at least what we attempted to explain at that meeting and following that was, again, we can only act what we can act on. We can't control if somebody stands on top of a landing. We can't control if they change a lighting to a higher lumen unless we have a bylaw to control that. So,
Which is
yes,
why
yes,
here is 'cause
yes, you
the
brought
gap
forward
in
your
the bylaw.
concerns, but again, we cannot take action on something that we don't have a bylaw to control.
So create the bylaw, so people like me won't have this issue in the future.
All right, Councillor Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for coming with your concerns. And hearing from Director Jardine, staff follow the policies in place that council puts there, and they share that information. So I think, Mr. Mayor, if we could, I'd like to put forward a motion, or at least some staff consideration through you, that we look at a lighting policy. I know that's going to be very difficult and challenging because, you know, all the lights, whatever you call them inside, I know there's different, you know, sorry.
I recognize that
Yeah,
as a challenge.
so and I've also heard from neighborhoods about different lighting, about Christmas lighting and so forth, and and they leave them on for the entire year. You know, there's lots of lighting consideration and with neighbors, and we do get this from time to time. So I don't know if you want me to bring forward a motion to give staff that direction or wait for staff report, Mr. Mayor, but I'd be happy to do so.
Well, you can, why not put a motion asking for a staff report?
Is that okay?
Yeah, I'd second that one.
Okay. So I'd like to put forward a motion that staff do some research and develop a policy related to lighting in neighborhoods and so forth. And there'll be other parts of this, Director. I think you know where I'm coming from. So I'd put that forward.
Okay, Councillor Armstrong.
I'd like to second that motion.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just wondering if you could.
Seconded by Councillor O'Neill, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I was wondering if you could amend that to include security cameras, because that issue has come up before with people's cameras pointing into somebody's backyard and they're being recorded.
I wonder if that could be a separate
I
motion,
didn't-
just because there's different elements involved. Thank
I'm
you.
going to ask CO Angelo to make a.
Your Worship, I think I'd prefer the original resolution that council is making the motion to direct staff to bring back a report. If there's other things you want us to consider, we can bring back a further report after that, look at their options. But I think this is the crux of the issue that I'm hearing from council.
That would be fine as the mover. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Boyd.
Thank you, Your Worship. Quite frankly, I'm surprised that, you know, I know there's other municipalities that have these lights in place. I simply didn't know that there wasn't a bylaw, and I'm glad that, you know, that council is going to do this as quickly as we can, because it's something that I can just imagine being in my backyard, and my backyard is quite dark, and then all of a sudden I've got a neighbor. It's almost like you're being interrogated or something. You've got the light shining on you, and I think it's necessary that, you know, for the quality of life and the neighborhood, that we look at a bylaw as soon as we can.
Councillor Elliott.
Just a comment on the damage with the snow on the fence. I believe that either the contractor or the property owner is liable if you do damage to somebody else's property. So I don't know whether the city can legislate something like that, but I do know if you cause damage to another property, you're liable for repair or whatever it takes to have
Civil.
restitution and what have you. But that's just a comment.
Civil.
Do you want
It
to,
is civil, there's nothing that's.
CO Angelo, do you want to comment on that private property issue and
Your Worship, in my 32 years here, typically those type of situations are really a civil matter between the residents, the two residents or owners of the properties. It's really nothing to do involving the municipality. It's really a civil matter between the two.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so we got a motion on the floor. All in favor of the motion? Motion's carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
There you
that.
go.
Are you good, Mr. Clerk? Okay, thank you very much. Thanks.
There we go.
All right, I think Scott Scaletta is on next, and he's going to ask and talk about the being here.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. My name is Scott Scaletta, and I am alongside with John McDonald, the co-owners of the Frankfurt Huskies Junior C hockey team. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm here respectfully to request consideration for a reduced hourly ice rental rate at the Frankfurt Arena. The Huskies are a privately owned, well-managed organization, and we take pride in operating in a responsible and sustainable manner. However, we face a structural limitation that directly impacts our ability to generate revenue compared to other teams in our league. Simply put, the Frankfurt Arena has limited seating capacity. Even at full attendance, our gate revenue is significantly lower than the other teams playing in our league. This creates an inherent disadvantage, one that is unrelated to team performance or management, but solely due to the size of the venue. We understand and respect the city's position that ice time can be rented at full rates to other users. However, on Huskies game nights, the community value extends far beyond a standard rental. On game nights, local restaurants and small businesses experience increased traffic. The Lions Club directly benefits from higher attendance at their hall, and the arena becomes a vibrant community hub, bringing residents together and strengthening local engagement. These are consistent and meaningful economic and social benefits that go beyond the hourly rental fee. Our request is not based on financial hardship, but in fairness and partnership. A modest adjustment to the ice rental rate would help offset the inherent revenue limitations of the facility while allowing the Huskies to continue contributing positively to the local economy and community life. The Frankfurt Huskies, we're not asking for a handout. We are asking for a collaborative approach that reflects the true value the Huskies bring to Frankfurt. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Okay, any comments or questions? We don't usually get into discussion, Scott, at this time, but I think I can tell you that everybody who uses the ice pays the same amount of money.
Yes.
So there's no discrimination.
Yep.
Yeah, anyway. And I appreciate the fact that you and some other gentlemen brought them here, and yes, you are certainly a bonus, yes, to the city and to the businesses in Frankfurt as well, and maybe further reaching. But I'll listen. Councillor Roseblade.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just a question. Would it be possible to schedule the Frankfurt Huskies in the Duncan McDonald Arena for game nights? Still practice and use the Frankfurt facility as your main facility, but if you want more seating capacity, is there any way to maybe switch minor hockey out there and put you guys in there for game nights? That way we would be able to accommodate larger crowds for the Frankfurt Huskies. I know they're Frankfurt and you'd probably rather play in Frankfurt because that's where you're from, but is that a possibility? Would that work?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know ice is really hard to get.
Yeah.
We already have a junior team in Trenton. I don't know if that's a possibility. I guess that would be up to the city to see if they could accommodate two junior teams in one building.
It would be just specifically for the game nights.
Councillor Reid, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Scott. Thank you for your presentation. I would be extremely surprised if Frankfurt fans would be happy with that suggestion. You started the team in Frankfurt knowing full well the size of the Frankfurt Arena. A brand-new dressing room was built to house the Frankfurt Huskies. And to move Frankfurt Huskies to a Trenton Arena or to another town, as you mentioned in an email that was sent to our working group, I think would be extremely upsetting to the Frankfurt fans. They've been with you, with the Frankfurt Huskies, since the beginning, 4 years, 5 years ago?
5 years, yeah.
5 years ago. At that time, you weren't winning, but they never stopped coming.
Yeah.
They have supported you all the way through this. They've been loyal. Typically, throughout the season, the crowds are a good crowd, but you're not getting playoff crowds.
No.
So the Frankfurt Arena houses them quite nicely. I go to most of the games. There's lots of room.
Yes.
You have the upstairs, you have the lobby, you have both sides. It's the coldest rink in the area, but it's the best ice, too.
Yeah.
So I really think that Frankfurt Huskies need to stay in Frankfurt.
And we want to stay in Frankfurt, to be honest with you.
But to be reasonable, and I know you've said that you are benefiting the local restaurants and the Lions Club. That's true. The local residents need to come early, and even those out of town, they come early to get a seat.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how many restaurants are benefiting there. And the Lions Club, they provide a service with their canteen and their bar, but everything that they take in goes back to the community.
Yeah, correct.
It doesn't go to line their pockets with anything. Everything goes back to the community. So, yes, it's very nice to do that. I know there was a hiccup this fall,
Yes.
and that was pretty upsetting to a lot of Frankfurt people. So I'm just thinking that we've got a great thing going, you know, and I think that you need to be loyal to the fans that are loyal to you.
Is there perhaps inexpensive, and I'll call them renovations, that can be done to Frankfurt? For instance, the Zamboni entrance. So if you go to Trenton to Pad 2, you can walk all the way around the back of the ice to get to the benches. In Frankfurt, for whatever reason, it's barricaded back there. Is there any availability to open that up so that we can get some more people in? So I understand there is a safety issue, but I ask you, why is Pad 2 safe in Trenton, but Frankfurt is not?
Well, I won't answer the question, but I'll ask our staff if they have any, at this time, any comment with respect to that issue. If you don't, that's fine, but if you do, I'll listen.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. What I can say right now in terms of Mr. Scaletta's suggestion is we don't have any renovation plans on the capital project list for the Frankfurt Arena. Saying this, we do have a arena feasibility study that we are undertaking. We have recently just hired a consultant to start that process with staff. I've indicated to Mr. Scaletta and a number of our other major ICE stakeholders that they will be engaged as part of that process. So certainly we want to hear from the community. We want to hear from our ICE users in terms of the future of our ICE facilities, Frankfurt and Trenton as well. But certainly at this point, I can't commit to any renovation or new facilities overnight or even in the near future until we get a little bit further into that plan. I think there will be a lot of great discussions to come from that, and certainly that will help council to make some decisions on the future of our arena facilities.
Thank you. Anybody, Councillor Katsoulis?
I just agree with Councillor Reid, and she basically answered my question. I was going to ask, how often do you sell out? And she said that there's room almost at every game.
Depends who we're playing, but she is correct. On most nights during the season, there is room, absolutely.
Okay, so the attendance isn't the issue, or the capacity isn't the issue?
Only at playoff time, which, you know, is,
Any
we're
place.
still in playoffs right now, and they start the end of February, early March, so
And you played last night
we played last night, yeah.
in Trent.
And also to her point, restaurants share the same peak time as game time. So I hardly see that it's benefiting local businesses or restaurants because they're not shopping or eating anywhere. The games, again, are at that peak time. The fee schedule rates have already been passed. So that's another issue. And then just I know Councilor Reid brought up the dressing room, but it was well over $400,000. So that was already a huge expense that the city undertook. To add more renovations for one team is not fair to all of minor hockey and figure skating and other sports alike.
Well, anybody else? Councillor Card.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would agree with the Councillor Katsoulis and Councillor Reid's comments previously. It is, you know, I appreciate it's hard to run a minor hockey team, I'm sure, and but as has been mentioned, did buy knowing the facility. I think the other, you know, if we follow this logic, not only obviously the other fee payers that are paying a similar rate, you know, would obviously want a similar reduction. I'm sure that would be a glaring inequity. But, you know, if you follow us down the rabbit hole, you know, can local restaurant owners come in and say, we want to pay lower property taxes because we support the, you know, the beef farmer down the road and we're buying stuff over here and we're supporting the other local downtown business. Like, it's just a never ending, I mean, no one would, you know, everyone benefits each other. It's a, you know, we think about the entire community. So I don't think that we can pass out money on this basis, you know, and you know, you see the other conversations with, you know, we're dealing with, you know, social services, you know, on the brink of closing, you know, for much, you know, small amounts of money. And so it's, anyway, yeah, thanks.
Okay, anybody else? Well, thank you very much. You know, Councillor Katsoulis says we're not eating out. Well, my wife must be an exception.
No, on game time is a peak
I know,
dinner
when,
time.
when
So they're
she
watching
gets
the
a
game.
chance to go out for dinner or something.
I'm suggesting our Golden Hawks and Huskies are well received because they're obviously watching the game on those Friday nights.
Anyways.
Or,
yeah.
Just a point of interest, so our game times hopefully are changing next season. Games are going to start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturdays rather than at 7.
Yeah.
So we feel that will be helpful. So.
Well, thank you very much. And, you know, as I said earlier, I really appreciate the fact that the young people who come here are treated with respect and dignity. And that's a real plus from my point of view. And I want you to acknowledge that with them and keep doing what you're doing. So I thank you very much. That's all I can do.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, sorry.
I just, too, want to say that the team, and Scott and Mr. McDonald are very aware of this, that the team started out 5 years ago, and they didn't do very well, but the Frankfurt fans came out faithfully and supported them. And everyone in the village and surrounding area are so proud of them. The coaching is phenomenal, and the teamwork, the way the team works together on the ice to play hockey. Not to take out the other guy, but they actually play hockey. It's really a treat to watch them. So kudos to the organization for creating this wonderful group of people that are contributing to the community. So I really thank you for that, and I'm hoping that you will remember to think of the fans and how proud they are of you, and stay in Frankfurt.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Just one more comment I'll make. The last game in Uxbridge that I attended, and one of the previous owners of the Belleville Bulls, his name was Simmons, came up to me and said, your team presents themselves so professionally.
Yeah.
That's a real comment and a real compliment to to the organization. And so thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Public input.
Okay, we're on to public input. Anybody here for public input? Come on up, one at a time. Yeah, come on up. Thank you.
Hi. My name is Cheryl Crate, and I live on Hillside Meadow Drive. I talked to you the other day. I moved here a little over a year ago, and I really enjoy this city, my new home, and my neighborhood. In the fall, the city closed Second Doug Hill Road just south of Hillside Meadow Drive to Loyalist Parkway. And we currently listen to a constant pounding all day, every day, starting at about 7:30 a.m. But that's what happens. We all need improvements in our area, so we get it. But then the city decided to also close Second Doug Hill Road right at Highway 2. It's been closed for over a week now, forcing everyone to meander their way through another neighborhood to come and go. So far, there's been absolutely no activity in that closed area. No equipment, no workers, nothing. And so we ask, why is it closed? And to make things worse, last week, they closed Hillside Meadow Drive at Doug Hill, which means we have no way in and out of our neighborhood except for the little laneway, the emergency access lane, I guess, that they now have everybody coming in and out of. So Clemensics are still doing construction back there. There is heavy equipment, big trucks, all the vehicles, like 50 cars and trucks every hour, going back and forth, back and forth. The road was never put in to be used as a thoroughfare. It is a laneway, an emergency access lane. The thing that I have problems with is that it is full of potholes. It has two really large dips. If you go at any speed, you're going to bottom out, okay? And there's a pond on the other end that is going to get bigger as soon as it rains. But the worst part of it is the dust. The dust that is just constant. I saw 3 students walking across the church field, and they had stopped for traffic, and they were choking on the dust from the cars that were going back and forth in front of them. It is all over our cars. It is all over my patio. I can't even have my furniture covered because there's so much dust. Because the city did not take one action to even prepare that laneway for that kind of traffic. Big crane trucks are bringing in supplies to Clemensic. They're still building back there. So minimally, if the city could come in and spray that laneway and just keep the dust under control, maybe go over it with a grater and flatten it out a little bit, just to make it a little more livable for a really bad situation that we're living in over there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to ask Director Tracy, have you got any comments at this time on?
Through your worship, I will acknowledge it's not an ideal situation for sure. The gravel emergency access road is being used just to get the trunk sewer through the intersection at Hillside. We're trying to get that done in as short a time period as possible, and we're optimistic that and hopeful that that can be done by the end of the week.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other? Pardon? We were told 5 weeks. 5 weeks?
Through your worship, there's a number of other different access options that will take place over the next period of time. But the emergency access road, again, we looked at a schedule. The contractor is committed to getting through there this week or early next week. But then, yeah, there'll be other detours where we have to detour south on Second Doug Hill Road in the coming weeks. So anyway,
Okay.
we're working through it.
we have an entire setup like this and not have a second exit for an entire neighborhood? That doesn't make sense to me. That just sounds like, hey, you don't care if you don't live there.
Okay, well, you'll certainly take a look at it and do your best to get it done as quickly
Through your
as-
worship, yes, we are working on it. We can deal with we can follow up the contract tomorrow and look at some calcium.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else for public input? Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much. We'll keep going then. I need a mover and a seconder for the resolution. Director, first one under A, corporate service.
Oh,
Councilor
I was
Armstrong.
going to put a notice of motion.
Pardon?
Point of order, notice of motion. I'd like to request that 8.4A be moved till now so these folks can get on their way, if that's possible.
Sure. 8.4.
It's the report on the youth center,
Yeah, we can do that, sure.
if you could.
You're going to move that? Second, anybody say it? Okay,
I'll
second,
second
all in
it
favor?
to deal with it
Carried, thank you,
sooner.
okay. 8.4A, Director Grimmin, talking about partnerships regarding Quinte West Youth Center, request be received and the council approve the request to waive rent, water and sewer fees for 26 up to a maximum of 16,000 to be funded from the 26 community fund grant budget. Okay, all in favor?
We gotta get a
Oh,
motion. I'll move it to put it on the floor, sir.
okay, sorry. Second by Councilor Rosie, moved by Councilor Elliott. Sorry about that. All right, any comments? Any other?
I have a
Councilor
further
Sharp.
question, thank you. With regard to this funding of $16,000, will this exhaust the remaining fund from that particular grant? Thank you.
I don't know.
Thank you, through Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Sharp. There's approximately 50,000 remaining in the community fund grant budget for 2026. So we would just be using the up to 16, so there would still be budget left.
And just a secondary question, supplementary, if I could. I actually forgot my question.
Okay, well, we'll come back to you. Okay. Did we vote on that one?
Councilor Card's got a question.
Councilor Card, question?
Well, I was just going to make a quick comment. I respect the other comments from councilors, and I think these asks are very difficult because we have a lot of great organizations in Quinte West that aren't getting relief, obviously, or have the return of services agreement. That being said, I think this is a unique situation in case just by how close the organization was to disbanding, and I think that it's important at this time to give them a chance and some breathing room. It sounds like that they have a wide bench, deep group of directors, so I would be inclined to give them that opportunity. I think it is a very dangerous path of start to go down, and then the next council with a bigger budget ask for services, and it gets it can get out of hand a little bit quickly. But I do support this on its own in isolation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've always been a proponent of youth programs and want them to thrive. But as some of the other councillors have mentioned, my concern is that the city already provides $40,000. There are other worthy charitable organizations. A lot of them have to do with seniors as well, and we can't forget them. So balancing the money between youth and seniors, I think, are both very important, and we try to do what we can. I'm in definite favor of amending the lease so that they can try and receive some kind of additional income, however they want to sublet that. At this time, it's hard to waive everything, including water and sewer. We're going to have other charitable organizations all coming towards us for the water and sewer, and not even those types of organizations. We may even have other businesses or teams, for that matter. I would propose that if we were to do anything, we could forgive 1 month of rent to let them get back on their feet. Their rent was a little over $11,000. It's not quite the water and sewer because that opens up the door, like I said, to other issues. And I know we can't really get into it, but I think the old financial or executive director was let go or it was over financial. I'm not sure about that. So I'm hoping with the new addition, and we're happy to meet this new one, that they're going to be going in the right way. Everything that we heard through our presentation, they're moving in the right direction. We can give them that boost with alleviating 1 month of rent, but the whole ask is a little difficult.
Councillor Roseblade.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, can we have a recorded vote on this, please?
Yeah, we can. Ask for a recorded vote. Councillor Quinte.
Mr. Mayor, like I said previously, I definitely have supported this organization and I'm really happy for the work that they do because I couldn't do it. But at this time, and I've heard the story about how we got here today, but if you quickly do the math, $40,000 we're already giving them, and now they're coming to ask for another 33% increase to what the city is already providing. And that's really tough to swallow. So is there another way that perhaps maybe we could do like a 0% loan for a period of time? Because although our history with lending money or holding mortgages is incredibly disappointing as well. But to answer to the taxpayers, when we come with a 30% increase in taxes, we certainly hear from the taxpayers, they don't want to see that. And sure, we already have the money in a reserve, but we have that because there was many organizations who came to request funds, and we turned some of those organizations away, and some we offered to help them out, and that's why there is a reserve sitting there now. Otherwise, that reserve would be all exhausted, and there wouldn't be any money to go around. So as much as I love this organization and the great work that they've done in the past, the city didn't set up this mistake, or whatever happened. I really don't have the full story, but and if we found out in December, I was given no knowledge of their situation in December. So I'm hearing this today, and quite frankly, I am really having a tough time swallowing this one. Thanks. I don't know if I'm going to support it.
Councillor Stedall.
Thank you, Worship. So I just want to clarify, I think the conversation got back to the fact that I only would support if there was reductions with hockey and soccer. That's not what I was trying to make the point of. The point is that we have many youth organizations. We have many senior organizations, as Councillor has indicated. We have many organizations actually that have been at the podium and made the same request. And so my concern is about fairness. So, we're already giving to this organization, and I am supportive of 1 month rent-free, given what Councillor Quinte is talking about, is some kind of repayment and a financial plan. There needs to be something that has to be, like if we're going to give away more money, I think it needs to be an interim solution. I think there needs to be repayment and repaying it back, and there needs to be some kind of a plan. You can't, just keep coming to the city and asking for more money. We've got lots of people that are asking us for money, and you can even hear that from tonight. But there's lots of organizations out there that do excellent work, and I'm not saying that this is, not supporting it. It's not to do with whether it's sports or whether it's any other kind of organization. It's just that we only have so much money, and we don't have a money tree out back. And if we did, then we'd be giving lots of money to other places. But we need some kind of a plan if we're going to be giving some money away, as to how it's going to be repaid and how there's not going to be a request coming forward. That's what I'm asking for. So I would ask that we may want to consider amending the motion so that it would be a loan of $11,000 to be repaid by the end of the year with a financial plan for the next year.
So I was thinking about asking about buying an airplane. Councillor Didal, go ahead.
Through your worship, I just want to be clear that a loan for this amount, we're also talking about the amount that's for rent and water bills. We are willing to work with people on payment plans, so we won't be sending the collections after 1 month. We will work with this agency. So I would say a bridge loan is a moot point in terms of collecting on the amount they owe for these services.
Okay. Councillor Card, then I'll come back this way. Councillor Card.
Yes, if I could maybe call the executive director or the chair up, just quickly again, you mentioned before that these issues, a lot of them stem from the fact that grants were not applied for last year. That's meaningful to me because being rejected for those streams of revenue would suggest that maybe some of those funding focuses have been moved, but you're suggesting that it was just a matter of not applying because the position of ED wasn't filled. So have you reached out to those organizations, and do you strongly believe, if they led you to believe, that those funding streams will come back with applications in the future?
Come on up, Maria, and answer the question.
It was grants, but it's also, we didn't have an opportunity to run fundraisers. We can't do that with 4 people either. Like, we missed out on our yearly big fundraiser that we would host. So we missed out on some of those opportunities. So yes, we have plans. Christina has been working tirelessly applying for grants. Of course, like you all know, some are going to say yes and some are going to say no. We have received a couple. I just heard about one tonight that I didn't know we got. Yeah. So, I mean, that's positive news. And then because we have a board now and staff, we are planning fundraising events. So I think that, yes, we have plans. I don't think we can get a loan because we don't make money. So we can't pay a loan back. We're not an organization that makes money, right? Is that right, Kayla? Okay. Like, we're a nonprofit. We don't make money. Okay.
Pardon? I can't hear all the conversation. Okay.
Through your worship, yes, the city is.
I'm still going this way.
Well, Mr. Mayor, we have a motion on the floor and
Yes.
a recorded vote requested. I would say we vote on it, and then if there's other direction needed after, we'll certainly look into it. So I would suggest we do that, but I'll leave it up to your discretion.
Call for the vote, please.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is what was in Director Gerben's staff report. The council approved the request from Quinte Youth Center to waive rent, water, and sewer fees for 2026, up to a maximum of $16,000 to be funded from the 2026 Community Fund grant budget. And further, that council directs staff to bring back amendments to the lease with the Quinte West Youth Center to include provisions for subleasing.
Okay.
Councillor Ellier.
Yes.
Councillor Armstrong.
Yes.
Councillor Boyce.
Yes.
Councillor Card.
Yes.
Councillor Katsovas.
No.
Councillor Quinte.
No.
Councillor O'Neill.
Yes.
Councillor Reed.
No.
Councillor Roseblade.
Yes.
Councillor Sharp.
No.
Councillor Stedall.
No.
Mayor Harrison.
Yes.
I think we got 6 and 6.
No.
3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, sorry, it passes. We have 7 and 6. Carried.
So is it 7-6 or 6-6?
7-6.
Where's Mr. McHugh? There's a person missing.
I believe it's 8-6.
Mr. McHugh has had a problem and he's dealing with it. That's all I can
Well,
tell.
I'm saying, you said the vote was 7-6.
7-5. Sorry, I'm not a treasurer. I can't count.
7-5.
Well, at least that adds up to 12. 7-6 added up to 13. And there's not 13 here.
Okay, so the motion's lost?
No, it's carried.
Carried by one.
It's carried.
Okay. Motion's carried. Thank
Mr.
you very
Mayor.
much. Okay.
Can we, before we go off this topic, I'm wondering if we can ask the youth center if they would come back with some kind of a plan and give us some progress, at least in 3 months, because, you know, I said no to this particular plan, but I'd like to know that they are being positive with the money that they've got, and that's gonna go forward. And that the board, I mean, it's-
I'm sure they'll be more than pleased to come back.
that'd be
Yes.
awesome.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Got a question?
Question?
Thank you. I appreciate Councillor Steddall's comments as well. Anyone from the public or the youth center directors that are sitting here, a yes, no is just a definitive answer, and I don't want them to think we don't support them. This council has voted unanimously to grant them the 40,000. We all support them. It was just a matter of tweaking the motion a little bit. So we wish you all luck in what you do in the future, and I agree with Councillor Steddall, just a financial plan would be recommended.
Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yes, I'm retired teacher. I support all youth and everything, but I just like to see I just thought it was a large ask, and I would like to have seen a few amendments to change it, but I wish you all the best with it. Your program's wonderful. We have a youth center in Frankfurt. They seem to be able to go along well. I mean, they don't get $40,000 a year, and they still have to pay their taxes, whereas you don't. So I support totally what you're doing. I wish you all the best. Maybe someday I'll be able to help out but it's not that I'm against it. It's just that I would like to have had a few tweaks in there. Thank you.
Okay. Anything I'm missing? Okay. All right, well, thank you very much, then we'll keep going here.
Peter Adam.
Hey?
8 point.
Anybody else? I'm finished public input, so I'm going on to 8.4A.
No.
8.1.
8.1. Hey,
I'm on the wrong
over
page.
page.
Okay, yeah, okay. Jeez. Yeah. Okay, stop by Josh, bring your own alcoholic beverage at outdoor public events be received.
I'll motion to receive the report as written.
Okay, thank you.
I
Seconder?
Second that.
Thank you. Any comments, Michael? Sorry.
I realize this isn't a voting item, so it doesn't matter what we do, it's just to receive, but I do not support this. The reality is that people between the ages of 19 and 29 are drinking far less than past generations, resulting in a decline in alcohol sales. It seems the provincial government is compensating for this trend and therefore constantly trying to make alcohol more accessible. Gas stations, for example, able to sell it during holidays. The massive distracting signs on the 401 that are asking you to come in and buy alcohol. Impaired drivers, numbers are constantly on the rise. That's a fact and a stat that no one likes to see. And finally, what we currently have is the process where the OPP, Fire Council, and city departments grant permission on an individual request. This approach seems more responsible.
Eddie, I don't know, are you, Sergeant Ludington, are you up on the impaired charges at all that have taken place in the?
I'm not completely up on them, but I know that they have increased a lot this year, and we had a sizable increase last year. I've talked to other police services, and we just can't figure out what the issue is, so it very well could be that they're selling it in convenience stores and those big billboards that are on the 401, but I'm not 100% sure why they're up, but they definitely are up. And it could very well be that we're just doing a better job at catching them.
Well, that's good.
I know that we do have a young police service that is working, our detachment is working very hard to ensure that we're getting as many off the road as we can.
And I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. And people have the right to drink, I just don't want them driving. That's what, and I think we agree. Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With the impaired charges being up, anything we do to make it easier to get alcohol, I'm totally against.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm not blaming you, but I think we have to do this. I think that's.
Mr. Mayor.
Can we not receive it and ask?
I don't know. What are our responsibilities here, I guess?
Through you to, Mr. Mayor, to the rest of the council, this program is entirely voluntary.
Oh.
So if council doesn't want to do anything, you don't have to do anything, and nothing would change when the legislation takes effect at the end of the month.
But how does that impact our police department?
If we don't change anything, I presume that it wouldn't.
I'm not sure. That's where I'm confused.
There's no changes, right?
No.
Mr. Mayor. Mr.
Councillor
Mayor.
Quinte.
I believe the staff are just trying to say that the province has amended their legislation. They're just letting us know. And if we wanted to jump on and participate, we would give staff direction. But staff is just saying, hey, this is what the province is doing. We're just letting you know. We're not changing anything. We're not making any rules that people can now drink in our parks. As a matter of fact, we don't want them drinking in our parks, if I read the report correctly. And if people do want to have a special event, they still have to come to the city and fill out the proper forms and get all the proper documentation in place and have the security all in place, just like they've done in the past, if I'm reading the report correctly. So that's all that's happening here. And I agree that with impaired driving, and nobody talks about it enough, is that it must cost anywhere between $5,000 to $45,000 if you get an impaired driving charge. Like if you just leased a car and then you decide you're going to drink and drive, and now you've got an impaired driving charge, that's where the $45,000 starts kicking in. You got lawyers, you could face jail time. You're not going to have a license. Now you got to find another way to get to work. Even if you can even go to work, maybe your employer doesn't want you if you're convicted. And the process takes forever. You get the charge, you lose your license 90 days, then you get your license back, and you're a year from then before you even get in front of a judge. It's just absolutely crazy that you're now got to face the judge, and you got to think about it for the next 10 to 12 months after you get your license back as to what you're going to do with the new car you just leased.
Okay, so.
Goodbye.
All in favor of receiving, I guess that's what I need. Carried, thank you.
Your worship, can I just ask you a question? Perhaps a 5 or 10 minute recess might be in order,
Sure,
just for
okay.
council
You
members
wanna
to,
take-
for a washroom break?
Yeah, go ahead. We'll take, I'm good with 5 minutes, but 6:15? I'd like to get done too. 6:15. Be back. let's get started. I'm at, I think, 3B, Peter Adams, regarding Quinte West AI framework we received and the council endorsed the Eastern Ontario IT Collaborative Responsible AI Use Framework to guide the responsible and secure adoption of artificial intelligence within the municipality. Moved by Councillor Boyce, seconded by Councillor Stedall. Thank you. Comments or questions?
Comment? Excellent. This is, I don't know if Peter came back, but we did. Okay. This is an excellent framework. I'm glad to see that this has come back, and I'd like to see the collaborative approach with the Eastern Group as well on this. And I think one of the things I found really informative, and I'm glad to see that it's been highlighted, is the training that's going to happen, because the training is the most important part. So people are using this properly and not, making sure that we don't have any of our information that's coming from the city or any of the public going out, getting breached or anything like that. So I'm very thankful for it. It's a very long report, but appreciate the work that's done.
Thank you, Your Worship. And yes, I'm happy to support the recommendations. It was an excellent report that highlighted a lot of the amazing potential and vulnerabilities of large language models and generative AI. I strongly support the recommendation. I think that, this is essentially AI governance team. I think that it's similar to a working group. I think that I would hope that in the future that council members would be included, because I think similar to our other working groups, and I know this has a different name, but I think having council buy-in and drive on these projects is really important, especially if you look at some of the prices of enterprise software solutions that are powered by generative AI. Those budget considerations, I think it's important. I understand that just working on, I've talked to Peter about this and Josh, and I understand that the framework is first and then use cases will come later and looking at different products. But I think in the future at some point it would be good to have council members as part of that process to have buy-in and similar to the other working groups.
All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, and next one is by Louise Smith, Deputy Clerk Sullivan, Accessibility Coordinator regarding housekeeping road widening registration error, 1308 County Road 40 being received, that council pass a bylaw to amend Schedule A of bylaw 02-14 by deleting line 2, referring to Part 7 on Plan 38R 3728 in Part Lot 10 and part of road allowance between lots 10 and 11, Concession 2, Geographic Township of Murray, and to authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the necessary legal documents to register the amending bylaw.
I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Coetzee, second by Councillor Reid. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Financial Services, Caleb, Director of Finance, regarding changes to annual write-offs be received, and that 2 accounts identified for write-off that do not meet the criteria set out in Section 354 of the Municipal Act 2001 be moved to annual grants, and that bylaw 0725, Legion Tax Rebate Amendment Number 1 bylaw, and bylaw 07-18, Legion Tax Rebate Bylaw, be repealed in accordance with the Assessment Act, and that the 3 accounts identified for charity rebates that do not meet the criteria set out in Section 361 of the Municipal Act 2001 be moved to annual grants. That's it. Okay. Any comments or questions? Councillor O'Neill?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the director. It's my understanding all it is, nothing's changing, it's just the way we're accounting for it.
That is correct, yes, mainly a housekeeping issue.
Okay. Sounds simple, doesn't it? I've had this cold for 3 weeks, and right now I can see you, Councillor Stedall, but it's just a
She's a blur.
It's terrible. Go ahead, sorry.
I just want to make sure, I guess, answer questions anybody in the public might be asking if there's any risk that there would be no write-offs in the future. This is, I know it's a change for 26, but assuming that this will go forward in the future, so there's no risk for these charities.
That's right. We will include them in our annual write-offs for these two. There's no risk. They should come forward every year with the other list of annual grants. Yeah.
Okay, Councilor Quinte.
So are we going to be amending the annual grants budget then, going forward, if that's what we're going to do in this case? Because we're talking $23,000 from what I see, unless I don't read the numbers right.
Through your worship, yeah, so we can do a minor operating budget adjustment from one area to another. So if we already budgeted for it in write-offs, we can simply move it to annual grants, and it's no effect on the overall budget. It's just the location, so we'll just adjust the operating budget accordingly.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anything else? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, I can't even see. I'm going to ask somebody else to, will you read it? Did Jim, go ahead.
Okay, we're at item B, staff report QW-2026-00070 by Melanie Mazur, Manager Purchasing and Risk Management regarding potential amendments to purchasing policy. And the resolution, the staff report QW-2026-00070 by Melanie Mazur, Manager Purchasing and Risk Management regarding potential amendments, purchase policy in relation to buy local initiatives be received, and that council directs staff to incorporate the requirements of Buy Ontario Act BOA and Municipal Buy Ontario Procurement Directive into the purchasing policy and purchasing procedures and evaluation methodologies in the upcoming Q3 2026 amendments, and that council proceed with option, which is blank, as outlined in the report in the upcoming Q3 26 amendments of the purchasing policy.
Mr. Mayor?
Okay. You want to move it, or?
We need to fill the
Have we got a
option.
mover and a seconder?
No.
There's two different options, so I don't like to move it right now. I'd like to make some, I'd like to move, we go with option one, but adding more value-based criteria
Okay,
to option one. And then I'd like to discuss that later.
okay. You second that? Sure. Okay. Mover and a seconder, Councilor O'Neill, Councilor Stedall. All right, do you want to address your question?
Could I comment, please?
Go ahead.
Well, regarding option two, I had some reservations about using the first of its kind description for the pros evaluation criteria. I believe, for example, the city of Peterborough is using value-based criteria, and I think we should incorporate more value-based criteria because in our purchasing policy to better support local initiatives. There's a recent article in Municipal World that suggested several procurement strategies to buy local campaigns. In addition to the community benefit initiatives mentioned in the report, they offered some more like sustainability, lifestyle costing, prioritizing long-term value and environmental impact, unbundling the contracts, so breaking large contracts into more manageable contracts that easier for small business and medium-sized to quote on, and supplier outreach, investing in education to strengthen local vendor competitiveness with compliant processes. And I feel if Quinte West intends to promote a buy local campaign, it's essential that the city demonstrates the specific steps we are taking to support it.
Anybody else? Any other, Councilor Stedall?
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. So just I support Councillor O'Neill in this is because I do think we have a procurement policy and it has been passed. It's been in place, and so I think we need to continue with a policy. The portion about incorporating Buy Ontario, Buy Ontario is an act, so staff doesn't actually have to change anything in our policy. The Ontario provincial government is enacting that, whether we like it or not. There's probably not going to be many workarounds for it. It's already incorporated into the provincial procurements. It's for vehicles that are non-emergency in nature, as well as for construction. So it doesn't really fit for other procurements. So we don't really need to change the procurement policy for that. But I agree with Councillor O'Neill about adding this social value component. There are other municipalities that have this social value component. So in other words, what that means is that if a vendor is coming and they are, we've got something that's gone out for procurement, and we're listing criteria as to what we are expecting for that purchase, whatever it may be. We can add a component of the evaluation that is social component. So we can say up to 10% of it if the company or the vendor that is coming forward has, contributing to our hospital, or they're contributing to our community center, or they're going to put in a trail, or they're going to do something like that, then we can give them up to 10% evaluation. We can, at least they would get noted that they are doing something for our community, and that helps if we've got these tenders out that are local. We can't really say buy local because we have got there's legislation, there's international agreements, but if we add that social value to it, then that will help it. And also, the other amendment, if we can do in addition to this, is that it says staff bring this report back in Q3. I'd like it to report to come back in Q2 because it's a very small amendment and there's other municipalities. The issue is that if we get into Q3, that's the middle of the election. I'd like to see staff can do, and there's examples that are out there, and I believe that our manager of procurement is going to a training session, and I've attended that as well, and the information is available there, and it's very easy to bring that information back and put it into procurement to add this social component that we have. So if we can change that, amend it, so it's to Q2 instead of Q3.
I'm in support of that.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Card?
Thank you, Your Worship. So I'll call on Director Denouden just for a moment. So my initial inclination is very similar to me. Actually, the issue, at least as I see it, was not that the contract was not awarded to a local company in and of itself. I think that from my perspective, is that there's just an inherent unfairness of all of the contributions of some businesses bid on contracts in Quinte West, and for that to carry no value. So I guess that whether it's the value added is changed to reflect that. I mean, I think that that's a reasonable mechanism for that. I know that through the mayor to Director Denouden, if you could speak to kind of how you see, because when we talked about this, you gave a little bit of pushback for the ability to, are we going to be able to, because again, whether it's through this or the option 2 had different ways of kind of adjusting and scoring for this, but, are we going to be able to, is staff going to be able to, delineate between donations in the community or charitable donations to Quinte West organizations? If someone vendor bids on a contract and they say in their value add that we gave $500,000 to Etobicoke General, and that dwarfs any dollar value that a local company has, do we have to weigh that as more than, $50,000 in-kind fireworks? Like, can you speak to some of those dynamics?
Yeah, through your worship, yeah, I do. I see that as highly problematic is asking staff to quantify and compare in-kind or donations to charitable, nonprofit, any type of organization within or outside of the geographic boundaries of Quinte West, and which ones benefit within and to what value. Nearly impossible, really, to administer, and not a single case that we've found where any purchasing policy has found a way to quantify that and compare that. And yeah, so we find this a very difficult concept to incorporate into a purchasing policy. And I'll just reiterate that concept is embedded in my option 2 here, with the kind of risks as well of trying to score that community impact. If I may also kind of answer the question or respond to the idea of this third or fourth option of social procurement, I want to be very clear that that's very different, I think, than what council has asked us to set out in terms of buy local. So the social procurement that we see in the Peterborough example is about societal values, and none of it is geographic. So they are trying to address societal values such as EDI and others, but none of them have geographic boundaries. So I don't think that is the method that council was actually asking us to look for to help encourage buy local. If anything, option 2 would incorporate some of the targets that council was talking about.
Well, anyway, I would like to see some staff at least try to address this. I understand maybe come back and say, this isn't possible to do in any reasonable manner or any fair manner, and I respect that. I would like to see that. There just has to be a way, I feel like, to capture some of that value, whether it's in the value-added category. I would like to see some options. Maybe it isn't possible, but.
Through your worship, if I could just also add one of the arguments too, is just in terms of the competitive nature of vendors already trying to put their best foot forward in a competitive bid, and to also add that component that we're asking vendors to compete for charities, for how much they're giving to charities. It's another component in a very competitive marketplace that doesn't seem to fit.
My point of view, I think it's ridiculous. Okay, so you asked me, and I'm going to tell you, I gave $100,000 to Quinte Healthcare. My wife gave $50,000. So that equates to 150. You can't beat me because you don't have a wife. I'm just being ridiculous, but that's the kind of thing you're looking at here. The policy we have now, it gives you the opportunity to evaluate everything I think, in a common sense way. That's the way I'm looking at it. And I think once you start climbing this hill, yeah. That's me. Councillor Quinte.
I think what Mr. Denowden was saying was if council's asking him to include some sort of social scoring or way to do it, he's got no way to measure it.
That's right.
So he can't do it.
Matter to you.
And I was going to go with option 1, but I'm just going with option 1 as how it's printed here. I'm not making any suggestion to do anything but what we're already doing until we can figure out if there is a way to do it without getting sued. Like, how is it going to be fair? We're going to have projects from $50,000 to millions and millions of dollars. And we're going to need people to come and bid on the work that has to be done. But as say some contractor who we would really like to bid on the work, they find out that there's going to be a preference to a local business. They may say, "Oh, forget it. I'm not even going to bother," and yet we need the work done. So I won't be supporting the motion that's on the floor with any kind of changes to option 1. Thanks.
Councillor Stedall.
To clarify, it's not for large bids. It's for small bids. It's for invitational bids that are under 100,000. The large bids are already dictated by international agreements, and we have to be open and competitive, and we can't say local. There's nowhere in any kind of legislation that you can say local. This option B, staff is absolutely correct, is that you cannot do that. It just breaks everything. However, this Buy Ontario legislation that's coming in, is going to happen. And we have no way around it. We have to figure out how to do it. But what I'm talking about is under $100,000 projects, and then the ability to say, okay, is there social value? Is there a component social value? And it's just a small portion of the bid, so that if we do have people that are giving to our community, that we can at least say, yes, they're doing something for us. It could be somebody that's not local. It could be, a firm that's from out of town, but they want to bid on it. But it means that they're bringing something to the city. So they're deciding that they want to give $100,000 to our hospital. So then they brought social value to our community. They want to give that $100,000 to Belleville, they wouldn't get anything on the scoring. So it's just, it's available.
But that's, again, your interpretation. I give it to Quinte Healthcare.
Right. But again, the social value, it can be, it's already being done in Peterborough, as was indicated. And so, I mean, it's been in place for 10, 15 years in other municipalities as well. So it's available to use it, and we need to, or we're asking staff to bring that back with the option A, so we can make sure we still have a policy in place, that staff or anybody else is not being asked to pull things out of the air or be influenced by anybody for their bids, because that's one thing we don't want staff to be, pressured into having to create a bid that they need to structure it a certain way so that so-and-so gets the bid. They want to make sure that they have a structure to operate in, and bringing the social value in at least adds a little bit of the component with the issue, the problem that we had with that last bid on the fireworks.
Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Everyone's just focusing on one component here. There's other components like workplace impact, resident employment and training, economic impact, the local businesses and tax contributions. And the other, like I say, is sustainability and life cycle costing. And to evaluate it fairly consistently, and I don't think we're reinventing a wheel here or we need to invent the wheel. We need to look at what other municipalities are doing so we can do something similar.
Councillor Card.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. I agree with the previous statements in terms of that, yes, we have to be careful we're not reverse engineering, and it's, this is obviously a difficult issue. One final point, I think it's really important hearing from staff that the vendors bidding for these smaller tenders, the fact that I've heard from staff that the value added is not even filled out a significant portion of the time by vendors, I think it would support the community's will, to try to, have this reflected, the value add. Some of these conversations should happen, hopefully, with these vendors, maybe to invite them to fill out these sections for it to be reflected, because just hearing from you the fact that isn't a lot is, I think, problematic, because those contributions, all of the different categories that Councillor O'Neill mentioned, are not being, or the existing categories within are not being reflected, any value is being reflected when they leave it blank.
Councillor Boyce.
Thank you, Your Worship. And that's why the value added part, I had a question, and I was going to ask it when we got to the fireworks request for quotation, but it's kind of in line with this. One of the things that's worth 20% of the final mark says, detail any opportunities for additional value of savings that would be available to the city at no additional cost. Like, for example, if you did fireworks for free for the city at another event, would they then be able to put it on their score, their request that, we've done fireworks, we invested this amount of money for the fireworks on June 5th or something, for the city of Belleville. Would that be evaluated for the 20 points? It's on page 13 of the other report, and it talks about additional value of savings available to the city. And it's worth 20%.
Worship, I'll speak to it, yes, because we have that scoring structure correct. So yes, any proponent could input anything that they believe is value added, then the scorers would determine if that contributes and to how many points that would contribute to the overall score. I will be cautious that we won't be going through this any of these applicants on the fireworks RFP in open council on how they scored, but that is exactly right. Any one of them could have put in value add, and it is up to the scorers to determine if that is value add relevant to fireworks.
Yeah, and in this particular case, that's worth, out of 100, that's worth 20%. 20% in a score, it could, could be the difference between first and third or first and fourth, whatever it can be. And then that kind of relates to my question that you said, and it's just for my information. When a request for a quotation, when the deadline comes and you open them up, are businesses allowed then to see what the scoring is? Like under the Freedom of Information, can the business say, I want to see what my other 4 competitors scored, so I would like a copy of the scoring?
Through your worship, I'd have to check through the FOI how much, because there's a competitive nature, or sorry, I forget the term, but you can't always know what your competition is doing so that you can copy them next time you bid, right? So you have to hide a lot of the components. We will always review a score with a proponent. They can call in and we'll tell them how they did, where they did well or not well. So very open with a phone call. They can reach out to us. But yeah, when it comes to the nuances of the scorers and how they scored, we are very careful, because obviously that can get to a point where vendors are coming after, staff and who's scoring, and they gave them, their subjectivity or it was too low, too high. So those individual scores aren't released, and that's common practice across Ontario and procurement as a whole.
But like I've attended tender openings, and I've known what each business has asked. Is that different than the scoring?
That's correct, yeah, because there's subjectivity to it. When it's a tender, it's price only. When there's other factors that could make your bid more competitive than somebody else's, now that's intellectual property, something around that, yeah.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
Councillor Sharp?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will be supporting the motion that's on the table. I'd like to give this an opportunity, and if it is unable to work, and as long as it's legal, it appears that Peterborough is doing the value added. I'd like to give that opportunity. As has been noted, the existing policy is very good. This is just an additional component to look at within that policy. So I'll be supporting the motion, and thank you to those that brought it up.
Okay.
I think the treasurer wants to talk.
Go ahead.
I would appreciate some clarity on the motion. We have done our research, and we know very well social procurement and what's included and not included in social procurement. I understand councillors are telling us that social procurement includes things I've identified in option 2, which is community impact, economic impact, and workforce impact. That includes in-kind value and giving back. In our social procurement policies that we've researched, including Peterborough, none of them include what council is talking about, including in-kind value, charities, those types of things. They are societal values, such as how many people you employ is one of them, but also EDI, those kind of things, those kind of societal values. And so I think it's very important we get clear direction from council, because I don't want to bring back a social procurement policy similar to Peterborough, and it addresses none of your concerns.
Any other comments? Anybody else?
So just to be clear, so it's the social value that we're asking, that component being added in, and then we're asking we'll come back with a staff report, so you'll be able to do a little bit more research as to exactly what we're talking about. What we're talking about when we talk about social benefit is social benefit back to the municipality. So again, it's for $100,000 and under, so it's something that they're bringing back to the municipality that's going to enhance our community. So in this particular case, where there is something that is being given to us that is in addition to what's being asked, then instead of just adding the vendor to fill something in as an add-on, and I do agree with councillors, is that vendors should be reminded that they can fill that out. This actually adds a social component that, regardless of whether it's included or not, can be added in. And it's going to take a little bit more of staff time, but staff should be very aware of whether or not any of the vendors are contributing something that is of significance in the community.
Okay.
Sorry, just to be clear, that's the third bullet point in option 2. Are bullet points 1 and 2 still relevant, or just bullet point number 3? Because what I'm hearing is bullet point number 3, community impact and social impact. We can put the word social there. The social impact, to give back an in-kind value, and geographic, and then within the 100,000 threshold. These are components that council's refining. Our workforce impact, economic impact, not included in this report that we're going to bring back?
All of it should be considered, as far as I'm concerned, in the report. You have to let council know exactly what it is, but we're talking social value, so back to the community.
Again, I'll say that everything that's been said here is in option 2. I'm not sure why option 2 is being denied if exactly what you're saying in terms of social values are all captured under option 2.
So we're asking for social value to be added in as a component of the policy, which if some of the components are what you've got in B, that's fine, but it's just to say we still want the policy in place. We don't want it to be open-ended. We want it to say there's got to be something, and it's a small portion, and it's for, again, for valuation of documents under 100,000. So I don't understand,
Okay.
like, I don't know.
Councillor Katsoulis.
Thank you. I believe the original motion was option 1. We're not talking about option 2. I know the wording is difficult when it's social component. I understand where Director Denowden's coming from. Legally, we open ourselves up. The paragraph above all the options, the value added, if we use that wording, I believe that's what Councillor O'Neill started with, option 1 with a value added addition. And that value added doesn't indicate what someone's donating, because that can be perceived as legal, or problematically legal, as the mayor indicated. But value added with the staff's examples in the report says that they may do free training, extended warranties. Those things should be included, and the certain components were missed. Like, again, I know you can't discuss with the firework instance, but if 2 of the 3 bids didn't even fill in that value added, the one that did would have won that hands down. So that value added has to be, I think, included in our current policy. And they're just there on site to troubleshoot. They're there for repairs. Like, there's a benefit definitely to having someone that can come and help you. So is that what you originally intended, Councillor O'Neill? Like, it was option 1 with value added portion?
With value-based.
Value-based, okay.
To be clear, Councillor Coastal, value added is in the current policy. The fireworks is an example where we used value added in the policy. It exists as is.
And you're just saying they're not filling it out? Forget the fireworks. You're saying most people don't fill it out?
I'm saying, no, people will fill it out
Okay.
if they know the scoring and they know that they have value added, they will put it in. Sometimes it is missed by vendors.
Okay.
So the social value objective, it means a measurable outcome assessed by the director, which determines whether the employment skills and training provided by a supplier will help the city meet at least one of the strategic goals. So if it meets some of the strategic goals, which is community improvement or whatever, then that is how the social value is achieved. So that's why it's being asked to add that into the procurement policy.
Anything else?
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
So can I, through you, Mr. Mayor, can I ask Director Denowden, if we change the wordings in our purchasing policy to match what Councillor Stedall say, you're saying that, like, we have this feature available to our bidders anyways, to some degree?
Through your worship, 2 separate things. Yeah, value added component we have existing.
I heard that.
Value in
yeah.
kind, which is, we're talking about, I would say it relates to charitable donations, is the thing that I think Councillor Stedall and Councillor Neal are asking for.
They're using the term social value.
Social values, and I think they have to explain what all they see in the social values.
So our vendors or our bidders have this option. It's just worded on a bidding process, but I don't have a bidding application, so I don't know what you're saying. So you're saying value added, so they get a chance to suggest what values they've already contributed, or however they want to word it. They get a chance to say that it's already existing in our purchasing policy.
Correct.
So I don't see any need to change anything. We should just be doing option 1 just as you've got it printed here, and nothing different.
Councillor O'Neill.
Is workplace impact or economic impact included now? I don't believe so.
No, those are not.
Yes,
considered.
and that's one thing I would like in. Those 2 things in.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone? All right, so.
Mr. Mayor? Is there a way we could clarify it? So on our bidding process, it says value added, and then we could have like a brief description as to what value added could be, whether it be a social aspect or a labor aspect or whatever it is, and just have that as like a definition of what we're viewing value added as, and just have that like a little definition there for bidders to read that and then go, oh, okay, well, I do this or I do that, and then they have the option to follow that process rather than go through all this. This is giving me a headache right now. That's what this is doing.
Why don't you take a deferral and allow staff to continue to work with what
Oh,
policy
yeah.
we've got?
Well, then how does that get them to do a description?
Well, that's what we'll ask them
All
to
right,
do.
well, then I'm going to ask for a deferral then.
Well, that's my suggestion.
Need a seconder.
CEO Angelo, you want to?
Your worship, I guess one thing on the deferral, it'll just keep pushing the deadline further into the year. And then, as we mentioned earlier, as it was mentioned earlier about the potential for lame duck council, could be the concern. So what I'm hearing from council is that your preference is for option one.
Yes.
But under the value-added services, you want inclusion of something of workforce impact, economic impact, and this community impact, which could be, give back an in-kind value. Something like that added in. We'll bring back a report to council on what that could look like and the risks or limitations around that. And we'll bring that back to the next council meeting.
That's what we're asking for.
Okay.
I think.
Will there be, when it's brought back, will there be like a criteria, a percentage that it would be, and what particular types of bids as well? Because this can't be done carte blanche. It has to be done with a certain level, and it also has to be like a criteria in evaluating those. Those are the types of things. So, I mean, this is the problem we have with value added. When you put value added on, people don't understand what that is. So it needs to be incorporated in. They need to understand that it's going to be part of, like, say, 10% of the 100% scoring, and that's why they need to add it in. Otherwise, they'll lose that 10%, and then it's on the vendors.
Correct, so that's understood. The only proviso I provide is I don't believe we can get this done for the May 6th council meeting. There's just not enough time by the time we get everything in place on the agenda for next week to get approved. So it's probably the later meeting in May to bring back something.
I think
that's fine by me.
But we continue with the present policy.
Correct, that's what's in place, yes.
Okay.
That's fine by me. Don't bring it back at all, as far as I'm concerned.
All in favor of what he's going to do? Carried, thank you. Okay. Oh. This one, right? Okay, this one's from Matt Hodge, development charge impact of water and wastewater exemption on cover all buildings be received, and that the water and wastewater portion of development charges for ancillary, non-residential, non-agricultural structure of low construction value, such as cover all buildings and T-sheds not connected to water and wastewater, be deferred with specific development charge section 27 agreements. Okay. There's a mover and a seconder for this one. Let's get on the table. Councillor Elliott and Councillor Card. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Whoops, sorry. Okay.
Sorry, I was just going to thank staff for their work on this. Reading the report, this is really kind of a night and day by utilizing the Section 27 agreements and essentially deferring payment until future hookup of those wastewater services. This completely changes the situation in terms of with a blanket exemption, even for the water, wastewater. Staff has directed us that taxpayers have to backfill that money into those missed development charges on blanket exemptions. This is a huge difference with the Section 27 agreements, and this is a way to essentially make the policy, I think, more just. Again, they're not accessing those services and not put it on the backs of taxpayers. So I just would commend staff's work on that.
All in favor? Oh, sorry.
I did want to comment, Mr. Mayor. I want to acknowledge, I believe Councillor McHugh and Councillor O'Neill brought it forward again. I'm glad to see it revisited in this way, and I believe this is what Councillor Stedall had brought up during that meeting, and appreciate that staff have brought it forward again for reconsideration. I will be supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, the next I'm at Minutes of the Planning Advisory Committee meeting held on March 19th be approved. Councillor Boyce, Councillor Elliott. Any comments or questions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say in the minutes of that meeting, Hastings Enterprises, Inc. and the agent Duran Homes, they're doing some planning for the long range on a residential development just off of Huffman Road for a total of 75 family units. And just wanted to say that congratulate them and want to push them forward as fast as they can go. Thanks.
Okay. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, the next is a resolution staffed by Director Grimmon regarding partnership regarding Quinte West Youth Center request.
We've already done that. It's the next one.
Oh, sorry. We got that one done?
Yeah, that's one for the $16,000 grant.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, the next one is staff, Grimmon, Director, Community Services Strategic Partnerships regarding fireworks procurement update be received as information. Okay. Mover and a seconder for this one. Councillor Boyce, Councillor Elliott. Comments or questions? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay. And, the next one is, again, by Director Grimmon, partnerships and Linda Lyle, Manager of Economic Development and Tourism regarding 2026 Quinte West pop-ups agreements be received. And they're all listed there. So need a mover and a seconder for this?
Yep, be happy to.
Move, seconder, and a seconder. Councillor Roseblade, thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Thank you. Carried. That's good. Okay, the next one is Public Works, staffed by Robert Jackson, Management Engineering, Municipal Access Agreements for telecommunications be received and council approved the draft municipal access agreement for future use with telecommunications companies that council delegates authority to the Director of Public Works and Environmental Services to negotiate with telecommunications companies for the purposes of entering into the municipal access agreement using the approved template. And that council approve an update to the 25, 6, 7 fees and charges bylaw in the table below. Moved by Councillor Sharp, seconded by Councillor Stedall. Comments or questions? How high are the towers? High enough, I guess. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay. And that the next I've got is council approved the Trenton Downtown Business Improvement Area 26 budget as presented. Mover and a seconder. Councilor O'Neill moves. Oh, sorry. Need a mover and a seconder for this one. Got to put it on the table. Councilor Quincy moves. I got to. Councilor Boyce, okay. What do you want to do? Tell me. Councilor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've served as an elected representative for nearly 8 years, and this is the first time I recall council being asked to approve the DBI budget. I'd like to clarify why this approval is now required. Also, I have concerns regarding the 2026 budget proposal. The requested amount is $56,000 higher than the previous year, representing a 25% increase. Even if you figure out the ROT grant, whatever that is, it's still a 17.25% increase. Given the current economic climate, I do not believe this is a responsible budget to present for approval.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councilor Boyce.
Years ago, when I sat on the downtown business in the other municipality, I was always with the understanding that it's not money, it's a special tax levy. And so that, and I'm sure it is here as well, it's a special tax levy levied onto the businesses downtown. So they vote for their board, and if they're happy or not happy with the increase, then they have an opportunity to vote the board out. But isn't that money, it's not like it's a 25% increase to our taxpayers. Isn't it just a 25% increase to the business owners downtown? Isn't it a special tax levy?
I'm sure it is, but they're going to pass it on somehow. Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you. It
No,
is
but-
a special
yeah.
tax levy.
Yeah.
I believe they have quite a surplus. And my point is, the budget has increased by 25%, and even the numbers they provided don't even give the comparatives to the 2025 year. So I don't know how they spent on 2025. I just don't think it's very responsible, especially when we had our 7% increase 2 years ago, and a member of the DBI came in and said that was not a responsible budget. So how can they say that about our 7% when they're doing 17 to 25%?
Councillor Card, you're next.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm happy to let Councillor Stedall speak after. I don't have the entire document in front of me if she has the budget available, but I believe that the levy increase, the DBI levy increase was finally passed was 3.5%. Is that correct, Councillor Stedall, if you happen to have that in front of you?
Yes, the levy it's 3.5%. If you take a look on page 367 of our 410-page agenda tonight, you'll find the numbers are. So the budget, the DBA levy is $194,000, and last year was $189,000. So there's only a $5,000 increase in the actual levy. But Councillor O'Neill's correct, is that the numbers, the actual expenditures have gone up a lot because there's this ROD grant, and because of that ROD grant that we received, where there's additional money on the grant line, but there's also additional costs that we're going to be incurring in additional marketing, et cetera, like that, that's going to be covered under that grant. But yeah, it's 3.5% is the actual increase for the landowners. But there was money taken from reserves to get to that point. So that's another thing, is that reserve that is there is being used in order for us to try and keep the levy lower.
Councillor Card.
Thank you, Your Worship. And to follow Councillor Stedall's comments, used from reserves to maximize the grant opportunity, I think, is the key. But it is a fair point that if, as Councillor O'Neill brings up, having the previous year's more information, I'm sure that can be done in the future, bringing year over year increases, and I'm sure that can be arranged, certainly.
Okay. Anything else? So what do you want to do? Turn it down, or what's the? I guess that's my question. All in favor of what's presented? Pardon?
Oh, no, I thought you were voting.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor of what's presented to us? 1, 2, 3, 4. Carried. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Okay, proclamations. May 1st is Doctors' Day in the city of Quinte West, and further, Quinte West sign and Veterans Skyway Bridge be illuminated in the color blue on May the 1st, pending no scheduled conflicts. Any mover and a seconder? Councillor Kutsovas moves, second by Councillor Roseblade. Any other comments? Any other comments or questions? Comments? All in favor? Thank you. Sorry, did you have a comment or no? Okay, thank you. All right, the next one, the council proclaimed the month of May 26 as Melanoma and Skin Cancer Awareness Month in the city of Quinte West. Moved by, seen a mover and a seconder, moved by Councillor Reid, seconded by who? Councillor Sharp, okay. Any comments? All in favor? Thank you. Next one, the council proclaimed the month of May as Food Allergy Awareness Month in the city of Quinte West. Further, that the Quinte West sign Veterans Skyway Bridge be illuminated in the color blue for the month of May. Pending no conflicts. We're going to love blue. I got a mover and a seconder. Councillor Elliott moves, second by Councillor Armstrong. Any comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, so we're going over the next one. Council proclaimed May as Lupus Awareness Day in the city of May. The 10th is Lupus Day in the city of Quinte West, and further, the Quinte West sign, Veterans Skyway Bridge, be illuminated in color purple on May the 10th, pending no conflicts. Mover and a seconder for this one. Councillor Sharp move, seconded by Councillor Reid. Thank you. Any questions? All in favor? Sorry, did you have a question? No? Okay. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. The next one's Fibromyalgia Awareness Day in the city of Quinte West, and that's May the 12th. So moved by Councillor Boyce, seconded by, need a seconder, Councillor Reid. Any other comments? Any comments or questions? All in favor? Carried, thank you. And the next one, proclaim May the 4th to the 9th as North American Safety and Health Week in the city of Quinte West. Need a mover and a seconder for this one. Councillor Allier moves, seconded by Councillor Reid. Okay, any comments? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Correspondence, printed information, resolution that printed information be received. Councillor Roseblade moves, seconded by Councillor Kosovas. Or are you just drinking? All in favor? Okay, thank you. Okay, anything under new business? I don't have anything. The bylaws, we read need a mover and a seconder for the bylaws. Councillor O'Neill and Councillor Quince. Any comments or questions on bylaws? All in favor? Carried, thank you. And I need a mover and a second for the resolution of confirmation bylaw and 2 for adjournment. So double the level.
Hallelujah.
Okay, thank you very much for